It's just a stage.
It's just a harmless rite of passage.
Don't validate, eliminate. All students in North Carolina deserve a safe learning environment without the threat of bullying. I'm Mark Jewell, president of the North Carolina Association of Educators. It's up to us as educators, as parents, as adults, to stand up on behalf of bullied students. Identify, intervene, and advocate. One caring adult can make all the difference in the world.
Visit NEA.org/bullyfree. A message from the North Carolina Association of Educators.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Chargers are making Derwin James the highest paid safety in NFL history. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports James and the Chargers agreed on a 4-year, $76 million extension, averages $19 million a year. The deal resets the safety market. The patience of quarterback Aaron Rodgers with the Packers' young receivers growing thin. For the first time since Devontae Adams left Green Bay via free agency, Rodgers publicly vented his frustrations with that group. He called for consistency, better route decisions. Ultimately, the Packers' offense should be fine, though, because of Rodgers' leadership, believes our Keyshawn Johnson.
After every single play you watch this season, as time goes on, you'll see Aaron Rodgers constantly communicating with the receivers, telling them what he wants them to do, where they need to be, so they can get on the same page. You see it with Tom Brady. You've seen it with all the great quarterbacks. When they get young guys, they become the professor now.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Breaking NBA news. Lakers star Lebron James has agreed on a 2-year, $97 million extension that includes a player option for the 2024-2025 season, according to our Adrian Wojnarowski.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. This is an excellent customer service from professional parts.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy can be heard and taken with you everywhere you go using the iHeartRadio app. You can see us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get into the chat. Also, follow the link. Don't forget that all-important link in the description of the YouTube video each and every day so you can claim your spot in the competition to be the best fantasy football player in Beer City.
We have an announcement about that, too. There has been an Amazon gift card, $500 gift card, donated to this cause that will go to our champion, and Ingles is donating gift cards as well. Our prize pack for this is over $1,000 for a $20 donation. It's really not that hard to understand. If you believe in yourself in fantasy football, you should be in this.
And the donations will go to Eblin Charity St. Nicholas Project to help out during the Christmas season. Needy families need to put stuff under the tree for their kids, and nobody does it like Eblin Charity. So support the St. Nicholas Project and claim your prize if you can.
We also have breaking news. Not hit the button breaking news.
Oh.
Jeremy did a dumb thing.
Was it dumber than me spraying biofreeze in my own eye the other night?
I'm going to argue yes.
Okay.
So for the last few days, I have been dealing with vertigo or something. A doctor thinks I have water in my ear. Mm-hmm. Basically, I've felt about 11 natty lights deep for about 4 straight days.
Okay.
So I finally did that thing that I don't ever do, which is call a doctor. Doctor prescribes a antibiotic spray. Mm-hmm. And this is why I don't do doctors. You're supposed to take it 2 times a day. So every 12 hours.
Okay.
I got this yesterday. I have taken 9 doses.
9 doses.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's too many.
Yep.
And it leads to me having my first cup of green tea in my entire life, which I'm about to sample live on the YouTube.
So what is the green tea? Does that counteract the effects of the spray? Or?
So from the best that I have seen, the spray has a very salty base.
Okay.
Which has made my sinuses feel as though I snorted a butane lighter. So it's not going well. And I would love to be able to get through this show.
All right.
But warrioring through it.
Oh, absolutely.
For you, the wonderful people of the Sportsocracy.
Bigger gamer. Is it Jeremy Greene or Baker Mayfield?
There were not many names there that I would have said myself. I'm gonna say myself right there.
You're gonna say yourself right there. All right. We got a lot to get into. NFL news and storylines all around. Panthers and the Patriots, they just can't seem to have a non-violent practice, apparently, together. Derwin James getting the big bag from the Los Angeles Chargers, a historic deal for a safety in the NFL. We got Aaron Rodgers talking smack about his rookies.
You can assume with me not feeling 100%, I'm a little more on edge than usual.
Uh-huh.
By the time we get to the Aaron Rodgers thing, I'm just going to say exactly what I think because I've heard that narrative all day. Not what he said.
And we will continue our preseason previews of college football. The Big 12 is on tap today. We'll talk about Oklahoma and Texas and Oklahoma State and, all those teams that don't have a chance to win a national championship.
And I will go, it's the Big 12. It's Division I football. At least 3 times.
We will have our next round of the daily draft where Jeremy and I are selecting the top 40 players in the NFL. Yesterday, so yesterday you picked first.
Correct.
So today I pick first.
Correct.
Okay. And by the end of the process, at the end of the week, we will have a comprehensive list of the 40 best players in the NFL as the NFL will be releasing their top 50 players.
Correct. So we will have 20-man teams apiece.
Yep.
That you will be able to vote on the social medias all weekend long.
Indeed. And also sports movies apparently on the docket today. Jeremy, you don't watch movies. So
I don't, but I did watch a movie. And it made me very angry. And it opens up an opportunity to extract just a little bit of revenge from an old friend, shall we say.
All right. All of that and your comments and questions in the chat from the YouTube stream all afternoon long here, 3 to 6 every day in the Ingles studio. We're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices. Love the savings. And today at the joint practices between the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots, it's the second straight day that players have been kicked out of practice for fighting.
Hit them with a left, hit them with a right. Fight night again.
Yesterday, 5 players in total got kicked out of the joint practice for fighting. And then today, Dietrich Wise did that one thing that you don't do, targeting the superstar of the team.
Out of bounds, landing on a fan.
Dietrich Wise just creamed Christian McCaffrey out of bounds today during practice. And then that started a scrum that led to Carolina Panthers players pushing him into the stands. There is no fence around around the practice facility outside of Gillette Stadium, and some woman got her foot crushed.
Just a rolled ankle, but a nice way to go full media there and make it sound way worse than it is.
You get a 320-pound defensive tackle falling on your foot. I think the crushed is the only way that you can describe that.
I mean, hey, you did used to work for Deadspin. He didn't, actually.
I did not.
But that's a little teaser of who I'm going to go ballistic on before the show is over. This tells me something very basic about Carolina and about New England.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my favorite turn of phrase, the analogy. These team practices and these brawls and things in practices at your own facility. It's a lot like children. If you've got brothers, brothers fight. All right, that's just going to happen. You have two twin boys. You can vouch for this.
Oh, all the time.
We at one point got them boxing gloves, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
Just so that, they wouldn't hurt each other, and it's sanctioned.
Mm-hmm.
If you got brothers, you're going to fight. But when you go out in public and you show your tuchus, that tells me way more about the discipline of the kid than it does that he fights with his brother at home.
Okay.
Way more. The fact that this has become such an unmitigated disaster that it's the lead story on every sports network in America tells me it's even worse than they're telling you. It was chippy. It was ridiculous. What does that tell you? You have two horribly undisciplined teams that don't respect their coach in the least. And it's two completely different stories. For Carolina, it's Matt Rule, lame duck coach. You should not have been surprised by this.
Right.
New England, you should be surprised. You have disciplinarian Bill Belichick. Have you ever seen one of his teams do anything like this ever before?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, you want to know why we've been talking about the fact that you don't have coordinators is such a big deal? Found it. Old Nancy Reagan words. I don't know what it is, but I can point it out when I see it.
Okay.
I found it.
Okay.
I am now willing to say the AFC East is the worst division in the NFL. They have one good team. The other three are just different levels of bad.
Right. You got the Buffalo Bills, who are obviously a Super Bowl contender. Jeremy's pick to win the Super Bowl this year.
Correct.
And then you got the New England Patriots, who
bad.
Just
undisciplined. All of the
off.
tenets of the Belichick years. Ask yourself this. Would this have ever happened with Tom? Would this have ever happened in the Josh McDaniels years?
No.
Would this have ever happened just keep going on and on and on with all the coaches they've lost. Now you look over there and you've got pencil behind his ear, Pat Matricia, Joe Judge, that no one actually understands. What is it that you do here?
He's coaching the quarterbacks, isn't he?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He might be getting people water. We don't know. Because Bill won't answer it.
Right. I think one of them's the passing game coordinator, and the other one is the running game coordinator, and they're both defensive coaches. It makes no sense.
And then you've got old num-nums, Steve Belichick.
Num-nums.
Oh, num-nums. Just out there doing stuff.
Just wagging his tongue.
It's a joke. You want to know why people like me are relishing in this so much? Because we watched you be the evil empire forever. And now all the stormtroopers are gone. And Darth Vader took one too many blows to the head, and now you look super vulnerable.
You got the New York Jets, obviously, in the AFC East, and Jeremy spent his time yesterday telling you how off the bandwagon he is with the building of a winner there in New York. And then you got the Miami Dolphins, who they don't have a decent quarterback right now, apparently.
No, it's not good.
In practice yesterday, they threw 6 combined interceptions in drills. Tua threw 3 of them himself. 2 of them was Jacoby Brissett, and then the third stringer threw 1.
Well, it'd be very hard for Jacoby Brissett to
or
throw
not Jacoby Brissett.
Teddy
Bridgewater, excuse me.
If Jacoby Brissett's throwing interceptions at Dolphins practice, we got something funny going on.
Sorry, the other irrelevant quarterback.
It's to me, there is no team in the NFL that it is more obvious that you're not just going to win your division, you're going to walk it than Buffalo. The funny thing to me is we have 2 Eastern divisions in this league, 8 teams total. 2 of them are not complete disasters.
Philadelphia and Buffalo.
One of them is not a complete disaster. I just think it's grossly overrated at how good they will be. The other 5 are unmitigated train wrecks. We have 2 updates in the YouTube chat. First of all, Pennywise, who we helped yesterday with choices for the frat party.
Nice.
Successfully got everybody to where they wanted to be.
Indeed.
Thanks to all the brothers around here in the Sportsocracy.
Right.
And Frankie Cleary noticed something on the YouTube stream. I took my first sip of green tea, and I'm going to have to ask a lot of questions of you people that drink this all the time.
We'll hear the initial reaction.
It doesn't have a flavor. This is like somebody took the remnants of my sweet tea that the ice melted in, and then they poured hot water on it and went, here's a beverage for you that you can have. Why do people drink this?
Not a fan?
It tastes like it was brewed in the sink here at Radio Ranch.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Roots and wings, the two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
I believe real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected. And seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
People who call QC Kinetics are pretty much fed up with joint pain.
It's to the point where it's affecting their quality of life. Maybe they can't pick up their grandchildren anymore, or golf, or play tennis, or walk with their friends.
Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting joint pain relief with no drugs, no steroids, and no surgery.
The great thing about our therapies, there isn't any downtime. There's no side effects, so patients can get our treatment and continue on with their day-to-day life.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from experience. He had excruciating back pain and got relief at a QC Kinetics clinic.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I've had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
Have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Yep. So the fight today at training camp between the Patriots and the Carolina Panthers could cost Kenny Robinson his job. You know who Kenny Robinson is?
I do.
Okay.
He went to West Virginia. Of course I know he is.
I thought you were going to give me some kind of reaction like, "Aw, Kenny."
No, I was waiting for you to explain why he might lose his job so I could laugh at it.
Kenny Robinson he started it all. He started it all yesterday, and he started it again today as he put a hit on a Patriots a Patriots receiver, and
Christian Wilkinson,
and then stood over him while the guy was on the ground
with apparently a very serious actual injury.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the term dirty hit has been used by several people who saw it, and we know how Matt Rule treats that kind of thing. You remember last year, they had to kick out a guy in practice, JT Ibe.
Yeah, he was a guy that wasn't making the team anyway.
Yeah.
Kenny Robinson actually is.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rule, if you do want to maybe assert some dominance, this would actually prove something.
Mm-hmm.
This would be like the Jets cutting Ike Enemkpali. He wasn't making the team anyway.
Oh, when he hit Teddy Bridgewater?
And it was I know it was in the regular season. It wouldn't have mattered.
Or not Teddy Bridgewater, Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Yeah, Geno Smith.
Was it the end of the preseason?
Yeah.
Ugh. I blocked that out of my brain. He had almost made the roster. He was very much on the fringe.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a no doubt, hey, he's going to make the roster.
Right.
But Rex Ryan had to prove a point. Okay. I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction from Carolina has just been I'm trying to be nice here, but it's been kind of comical. Did you hear Christian McCaffrey's quote after this?
No.
I've never been a part of a joint practice where there's not one of those. It's not about how it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with what you just said. This was 5. This was number 5.
Yes.
So it's not like I've had people that I know well around the league that say, I've never seen anything like this. They cannot do anything. This has gotten to a counterintuitive point because they can't stop fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Wilkerson's now probably done for the year. From what I've been told, that is not verified. But that was going to be their kick returner, replacing Gunnar Olszewski, who's in Baltimore now?
Pittsburgh.
He's
somewhere.
somewhere.
Pittsburgh.
I saw his name in a box score somewhere.
Right.
Don't necessarily make a huge point of keeping up with special teams gunners
right.
and kick returners.
Right.
But it's just it's almost comical to me. And in the YouTube comments, Frankie Cleary asked, "What's everyone's feelings on joint practices?" It's kind of where I was headed with this.
Mm-hmm.
It had a role.
But
it did
no
have a
longer?
role at a time.
But no longer?
I don't think so.
Really?
When you took the preseason game away, and now you don't have 4 chances for these guys to prove themselves in the preseason, I think it took something away from it. And now they get chippy, and everybody's trying to prove themselves, and you have all of these guys that have no shot of making these rosters that feel like they have to make a name for themselves. I'm not averse to it. I don't think they're all like this where they're counterintuitive, but I do think they lead to chippiness.
Well, I mean, you hear all the horror stories from training camp, and I realize training camp's not what training camp used to be back in the day. But you've heard every time he takes a sip of the green tea,
I'm convinced they washed dishes in it before it was put in my cup.
You remember those Keystone commercials from the 90s?
Bitter
face?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing.
And I'll be honest with you, I would much prefer somebody bring me a Keystone right now. I don't think legally I'm allowed to do that, but I will.
I mean, hey, I won't tell. I won't tell if you don't. Joint practices, though, I mean, you've got these guys who have been out there and they're training, and for a lot of these guys, I think it's also just kind of a why are we doing this kind of a thing.
Here's what I don't understand. So you had to get away from the 4th preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
You added that in the regular season, and this was the compromise. So let me get this straight. You didn't want to have an organized preseason game where there were officials that were being graded on this. Instead, now you want to have an extra joint practice because there's a slew of teams that are doing this twice.
Mm-hmm.
And will you have an official? Okay. He being graded on this? Yeah, I didn't think so. That running a guy out of practice, I'm going to say is a little less strict than it would be if this was on television.
Right.
Just doesn't make any sense.
No.
If you don't want extra practices, I mean, what is this about putting that stupid little puffball thing on their heads? Is that what makes this safer?
The Guardian helmet.
It's even got a stupid name. It's named after that stupid baseball team.
Why do you have a problem with the Guardian helmet?
Because it's dumb.
Why
because
is
it's
it dumb? Why is it dumb?
Don't have practice with helmets. I mean, if this is your solution, take the helmets off. Let's go full camis, boys.
But you're still running live reps. It's just
not really.
It cuts down on the concussion.
Yeah, not really. Go listen and look. I've had my issues with Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my issues with a lot of people in the NFL. Read some of the reactions about these things, because I'll tell you the effect it's going to have is your concussions in the first 6 weeks of the season are going to be higher than they've ever been before. You mark my words that I said that.
Really?
Yes. And those are not my words. That's been said to me more times than I could count.
But why?
Because people are getting more. We'll say they're getting a little more loosey-goosey with leading with the head. So you get used to doing that because, we got cushion on our heads. Well, that's a pillow fight. This is fun. And then you throw on real helmets. You don't have that thing, and, you've been leading with your head for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen? It's not rocket surgery. I mean, it's not like we're doing quantum physics here.
Right.
I mean, I think the Guardian helmet or whatever it is you call it, stupid thing. That's stupid. I think the joint practices are stupid. I'm this close to the point of, you know what?
Everything's
Do
stupid.
away with the preseason. If I wasn't making money on it, I would be Seacrest out.
5-1 last Friday in the preseason picks.
Woo-hoo! And we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it again.
He will have all the picks coming up for you. Do we have weekday games this week?
I don't actually know. Let me look.
I have not checked out the schedule.
I know there's not one on Wednesday. Oh, we do. We do.
Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday again?
We have a game tomorrow. We have a slew of games over the weekend. There's only 3 on Friday.
Okay.
But one of them's Patriots, Panthers, and that could turn into a full UFC match. So to me, that's appointment television.
Right.
And I can't say this emphatically enough. This Friday is the last Friday that we will have a program where we don't have actual games to bet on.
Yeah.
It's but only 9 days away. It's so close you could just touch it.
Absolutely.
I didn't actually put 2 and 2 together on that. We talk about this all the time. We do a segment for Ingles that gets spread out across the Southeast. I didn't realize it until I checked the calendar and went, this is the last one. There's no more.
That's right.
All of them will be about games and things you can actually wager on from moving forward.
I still think we should get you into putting some spreads on high school games.
I would be at the mercy of everyone else on that.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
I'm saying we got to kick out.
That has to be illegal.
Oh, I'm sure it probably is. I don't know. It's at least frowned upon. I will say that. We do have high school football kicking off this Friday here in Western North Carolina. We'll have the Buncombe County High School football game of the week and the Tuscola game of the week, as we do on ESPN Asheville each and every week of the season. This week kicks it all off. So we're just hours away from the start of regular season football at the high school level. And then next week it'll be college.
And then 2 weeks after that,
yep,
we're back to the NFL.
That's right.
We're back.
Yeah. Joint practice, I don't have a problem with the joint practices. You're going to, part of me wants to see this. Part of me wants to see a little bit of fight in the guys. But I don't want to
let me
see.
Hear straight. You had a problem with guys fighting with their own team when it was San Francisco a few weeks ago, but you have no problem with them fighting with another team.
I didn't say
that. I mean, we talked about it. It was discussed. We can check the footage here.
I asked you the question.
No.
Do you have a problem?
And I did
with the fighting.
And I'm going to revert back to the same analogy I made in the first segment. I don't care if two brothers smack each other from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
You live in very close quarters. You see each other every day. And sometimes you just need to do something about your stupid face.
Sure.
When you go out in public and you start beating the sin out of kids at Walmart, okay, now we have a problem.
Right.
All right, now I'm looking at you going, that kid is a brat. And I kind of think the analogy applies here.
I honestly do look at it a little differently. If you're fighting with your own teammates, I feel like that's worse than fighting with another team. you can stand up for your guys, stand up for your fellow soldiers when you're out there against other people, but you don't fight each other in practice.
Yeah, I see that. I'm the exact opposite of that.
Right.
It makes you look horribly undisciplined this way. Fighting with your own guys, you've been around these guys for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'm tired of your stupid face.
Right.
And so every once in a while, I'm going to have to do something about it. I'm fine with that.
Again, it's just another one of those things we'll have to agree to disagree.
I don't know how to do that.
Coming up next, just a bit outside. Plus, we'll talk about the big contract Derwin James picked up from the Chargers.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid 70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The Night Race. It's as American as Uncle Sam deadlifting 350 while drinking a Busch Light outside his camper in a national park. It's as American as Earnhardt rattling Terry's cage. It's the Bass Pro Shops Night Race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? Be there September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone. Can I get a hell yeah?
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Time to get just a bit outside. And normally, we don't necessarily always get the window into the mind of an NFL head coach. But Kyle Shanahan gave us just that.
That's three-dimensional chess.
When he was asking us, or when he was asked about the choice of Trey Lance over Mac Jones in the draft. And he gave the following analogy. He said it's like when you buy a house. He says, when my wife would bring me to a house that she loves, I go through the house and point out every single thing that's wrong with it. Usually by the end of it, she's in tears and she's apologizing to the realtor for how offensive that I've been. And then I come out and they're out there and they say, so what do you think? And I'm like, oh, I like this one. Let's get this. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Because you've just been ripping this house apart. He says basically the same way with quarterbacks in the draft. Like, he analyzed Trey Lance and Mac Jones. He tore both of them down. And in Trey Lance, he found things that he could, quote unquote, fix up. And apparently Mac Jones was a bigger fixer-upper than Trey Lance.
Mac Jones was the tiny little house in the cute neighborhood that was very safe.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance was the mansion that, yeah, it might take some time to relay the floors and all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
But if we fix this house up, we're going to be great. That one's capped at about 400 bills tops.
Right.
So what I would have loved from the great Kazoo himself more is if he had just taken a picture of Trey Lance in college and held it up next to Mac Jones at the combine. You want to know what we looked at?
Which one do you want?
That.
Right.
That's what we looked at. One of them looks like Thor, God of Thunder, and the other one looks like the captain of your beer league softball team.
But Kyle was honest. He said, the tape was very, very limited with Trey Lance. This is a guy who only started 20 games in his college career.
He was a Sasquatch for sure.
But
there was a lot of grainy film.
Right, but he said everything that we saw on film we just fell in love with. I just thought that was interesting that he makes his wife cry when they go look at houses. Like, why are you a jerk? Why you got to be a jerk?
That's what you took out of it. Tank Spencer in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. If you're like me and you will wager on practically anything, the NFL is your haven because they have a prop bet for just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And across all of the industry, there are a slew of props that make little sense. But there's a lot that make a lot of sense. Most passing touchdowns, most receiving touchdowns. And the leaders on these lines, they tend to make a lot of sense. Receiving touchdowns, who would you say the three most likely players to lead that category are according to DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesar Sportsbook, on and on and on?
I'd have to say Cooper Kupp.
Number one.
Justin Jefferson.
He's number 5, but
he's number 5.
They're tied at 5.
Okay.
Mike Evans and Jamar Chase are the other two.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So those all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, earlier this week, somebody went into a Caesar Sportsbook, and they did something that makes absolutely no sense. They placed a $1.5 thousand bet. That's a weird way to say that. $1,500 bet. That's the way it was said in the story.
1.5K.
Write your stories better. Not you, but person who I'm not going to shame publicly on this here radio show. Put a $1,500 bet on a receiver to win most receiving touchdowns in the NFL.
Okay.
There's only one problem with that.
What's that?
He got 500 to 1 odds. So if he hits it, it's
going to pay off.
$750,000 payday. There's only one problem. He picked a player that's not actually in the league.
What do you mean not
Will
in the league?
Fuller. He's not on a team.
He's not on a team. Yeah.
Short of him being legally dead, I don't think there's actually anything that makes it less likely to happen.
I'm surprised it was only 500 to 1.
That's what I said.
Right.
There are players in the league that are 500 to 1.
The only, I don't know. I mean, Vegas is obviously expecting that he gets called, that he gets picked up by a team. I don't know.
I guess that's a lot of buts. That's like Foghorn Leghorn level of but.
Let's think about the liability there, though. If they had given better odds than that, and he ends up going to Green Bay and being the number 1, that would be a problem.
I don't care if he goes to Houston and he's the only one. He cannot stay healthy when he's actually on a team. If you want to just set money on fire, I could give you a place for it to land.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use the I think it was Rodney Carrington joke. convert it all into quarters, flush them down the toilet, and every once in a while it'll back up and you feel like a winner.
Somebody is feeling like a winner today, and that's got to be Derwin James. Derwin James has officially and finally reached a contract extension deal with the Los Angeles Chargers that he is now the NFL's highest paid safety ever. He is going to get just over $19 million a year. The contract extension is 4 years, $76.4 million, eclipsing all other safeties. Does Derwin James deserve to be the top paid safety in the league?
Short answer, no.
No. Too much injury?
No.
Too much injury risk, history?
But I have absolutely no problem with his contract. I love the fact that you just said too much injury history.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 2-year stretch in the middle of the career.
Yep.
So this is his 4th year in the league.
Yep.
He was out for all of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And he missed 11 games in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, how many games he missed in his career?
1.
It's 2.
Yeah.
It's 2. The injury history is a little overrated. It's that thing we talk about a lot of a guy has one season ender where we never see them, and all of a sudden they're made of popsicle sticks. I don't have a problem there. I don't have a problem anywhere because of the Chargers. This is what happens when you draft well.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have to go find replacements at top dollar, you just fill holes, you've still got a quarterback on a rookie deal, this is what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when that quarterback gets paid, these are the opposite of things you can do. This is the guy that you have to let walk, or you have to facilitate some terrible trade where you move a guy like Derwin James for a second-round pick.
Right.
Chicago Bears to this same team. Best example humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a Charger fan, that's how you should be looking at this. Tom Telesco has done such a good job of building this team. Did we just overpay Derwin James? Sure did.
Mm-hmm.
Sure did. But we can.
Mm-hmm.
We can because we drafted Mike Williams. We drafted Rashawn Slater. We drafted a ton of players that play big roles on this team, all the way down to Joshua Palmer, who has to be mentioned anytime I talk about the Chargers.
And Donald Parham.
I would be lying if I said I didn't have a ticket that said to lead the league in receiving touchdowns, Joshua Palmer.
Oh, stop
It's
that.
also 500 to 1. He's on a team, though.
Yeah, but he's got, I still feel Will Fuller's got a better chance of doing that than Josh Palmer.
Incorrect. That's why I bet you don't. One of them on a team, one of them not. I win by de facto.
Yeah, we'll just see about that.
Oh, I'm going to laugh so much when Mike Williams just decides to whack surfboards for 8 weeks this year and Joshua Palmer becomes the 2, and I can look at you and go, I told you!
Right.
I told you he's the man. Love that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to parlay Josh Palmer into a job in the NFL.
So this now
I'm just going to
means-
walk around like Kyle Shanahan should have with Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
Right.
I got this right, and here's the proof.
With the 4-year contract extension, that now means that Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and J.C. Jackson are all going to be key members of this defense for the next 4 years at least.
I could make an argument that every guy you just said was in the top 3 of their position in the league.
Yes.
And it would not be that much of a stretch.
No.
Oh, and by the way, you have one of the best young quarterbacks in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And a tremendous receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
And you added the running back that I've been screaming for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Charger team. I love everything they do. And I'll be honest with you, this is kind of like when you argue with your wife. All right, you argue with your spouse, and they do something nice, and you're like, grumble.
Right.
When everything's hunky-dunky, they make a nice dinner, and you're like, well, you're the greatest. When things are going well, it's shocking how easy it is to make yourself feel better about probably overpaying a safety. If the Jets had done this, I'd be crushing it. Your highest-paid player is a stupid safety.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most meaningless, transient positions in this entire league. But this is what building a team the right way does. You can afford an ancillary piece like this that makes that defense exponentially better. By the way,
of course it does. He is, as Brandon Staley said, he is the heartbeat of our defense. He's our play caller. He's the spark of the attitude guy. I love Derwin James.
He's also the last great player to come out of Florida State, so I will love him until there's another one, which means I will love him probably until I die.
For the next 30 years, at least. Can't argue with that.
Raider season in our comments said the identity of the Chargers can be the only thing that holds them back. I'll be honest with you. This is how quick it can change if you do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the Chargers 5 years ago when Phillip Rivers was on the way out. Played a couple more years, then went to Indianapolis, and now we're here. Just look at the chain of events.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why I don't give much platitude to the, well, they're just bad, other than the Jets, because we're cursed. It's a deal with Satan. We've talked about it before. I don't give that much platitude because nobody was more cursed than the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. And how much better?
One of the biggest busts in NFL history, taking a quarterback.
Right.
Had a slew of bad decisions at quarterback over the years. Took Drew Brees, let him walk for Phillip Rivers, and I was never convinced that was actually the better idea. But it worked out fine.
It did.
And then you move off that because, well, it's your time.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're here.
I remember how we felt during the Anthony Lynn years.
Ugh. What is that guy doing now?
No clue. He's got to be a position coach for somebody.
What is Anthony Lynn doing? What is Anthony Lynn doing now? He's nope. Running back coach for the 49ers.
Running back coach for the 49ers.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that.
Okay.
Another signing that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't love him as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
Detroit Lions. Him going out the door made you instantly better.
Brandon Staley, he's the one defensive coach that I look at as a head coach and go, you know what, that makes sense.
But why? Ask yourself the question of why is he the one that makes sense?
Because of the roster now.
Nope.
Especially.
Nope. He has. I would wager that Brandon Staley has less than zero say on this roster.
Okay. It's all
you know what? We'll do it after the break. There is a reason that the Brandon Staley thing works. And I would argue it sets up a couple different coaches down the line. It's a copycat league. You see something work, and then you want your team to do it. There's something I see in Brandon Staley that I see in a couple other guys, and it could play out in the next hiring cycle, at the very least the next two.
This is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The PhD weight loss program is causing one thing that is a no-no in sports, and that's tanking. The numbers on my scale continue to tank. I am now down nearly 85 pounds in just over 6 months. It's the easiest weight loss program I've ever been on. Their healthy nutrition has changed my life.
When I originally met with Dr. Ashley Lucas, my goal was to get back to a weight where I could work out, be committed to physical activities, and do the things that I enjoyed doing. In just half a year, I've gotten back under my high school weight. I'm sleeping like a baby. I'm going back to the gym, and it's all thanks to the plan and program of PhD Weight Loss.
I am knocking down that door of 210 pounds now, and it's a level that I never thought I'd be at in my adult life. PhD, in my opinion, has saved my life. They can help you turn around your weight loss problem as well. Just go to myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
I love this bet. It just gets me amped up. It's got that football feel to it. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN. Asheville football season is here. We got preseason action in the NFL starting tomorrow night for week 2. I didn't get a chance to check out the latest episode of Hard Knocks. Did you see that?
I haven't. I have not seen it.
Haven't delved into that. Hopefully, I'll get to that tonight, and we'll have some reactions about that for you on tomorrow's program.
Now, I did bury the lead on the preseason game that we have to wager on tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
If you could name the worst possible matchup in the NFL of you watching their 85th player on the roster play against another team's, who would that matchup be?
The Texans?
Nope. Who are the 2 worst teams in the league?
The Bears and the Seahawks?
There you go.
That's who's playing tomorrow night. Oh, my gosh.
Ooh, that is eye broccoli.
Yikes.
If they played that in my backyard, I'd move.
Right.
If they played that in my living room, I would set the couch on fire and get out.
So, yeah, Jeremy's going to have a lock of a pick for you on that game coming up tomorrow on the program. What is it about Brandon Staley that makes you think more teams may consider going this route of a defensive coach?
Well, this is a 2-part scale. One, the fact that Brandon Staley came off the Sean McVay tree means he can cherry pick an offensive coach for the next 10 years, and it will be a guy that he's either worked with or worked with somebody he works with.
Right.
That's kind of rare. But there's another coach in the league that I've seen do the exact same thing. And he cherry picked a coordinator that we just so happen to know. It's Dan Campbell.
Oh, Dan Campbell.
With Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Why did last year not work? Because you had antiquated Anthony Lynn. Man, he is catching a lot of shade on this show for a guy that hasn't done anything noteworthy since about 2006.
Right.
You bring in a young hotshot. Offense gets better. Why would guys be what would be the allure of that? Let's get a parlay into my head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that for the next 15 years if you're Brandon Staley. All I have to do is stay within the confines of the same system. Offensive coordinators, I don't care if it's a different guy calling plays. Buffalo Bills. Brian Daboll goes out, Ken Dorsey comes in. Do you actually think they're going to take a step back?
No.
No, I actually think they can take a step forward. It's the same system. The terminology didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can do that, you'll be fine. The problem is that there's not a lot of defensive coaches that come off the Sean McVay tree.
Right.
Because that's not really the place you go like, I'm sure they'll give me plenty of credit for turning around this defense. You mean the one that has Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey? I don't know that they will. So that's going to be a little rare.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one way I would hire a defensive coach. Just do it backwards. But you're going to have to find somebody that's got a very, let's say, supple amount of coordinators to choose from.
Yes.
That's why Brandon Staley works.
Okay. All right.
Say Joe Lombardi leaves. How many position coaches on the Rams do you think would win? Ooh,
me.
Ooh, I'll do it. Please hire me. I will coach Justin Herbert.
Yes.
Frankly, I'll do it for $11. I will take the biggest pay cut in the history of the NFL. Well, I will coordinate your offense.
I think the roster plays a lot into that as well.
It does, but the Detroit Lions just did it with Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it plays something into it, but it's not everything.
Right. Okay. I also wanted to comment on this because I saw at least 4 or 5 of these in the YouTube comment section.
Is it laughing at how badly I'm having to choke down the screen?
No, it's not. But the reaction of, the Chargers have to make the playoffs now, or they got a problem.
If they don't make the playoffs, half the team got abducted by aliens.
I would tend to agree with that, but I mean, are we just looking at this from a historical standpoint of this franchise, that they've gotten so close and had good teams that were, 2-3 losses all season long and then flamed out in the playoffs? Because this is a different regime, right? This is not the Schottenheimer years.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. As a fan of a team that's cursed, I don't really care who we hire as head coach because there's a virus that permeates through one jet drive that you're going to catch it.
Right.
It's like we talked about COVID 2 years ago. You're going to catch it really no matter what you do. That's kind of how the stink of being the Jets and a slew of other teams works.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers were one of those.
I get that the Chargers have had problems when it comes to winning playoff games historically, but
I'll tell you,
the reaction to be Brandon Staley has to get it done now is kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, I understand you've got
You're all in. You're all in, and this is the year that you have to jump the shark here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just telling you, and you should know this better than anybody. Now, your team cheated to get off the stinky cheese list.
Cheated.
You did. You brought in Pretty Boy Brady to get yourself off the stinky cheese list.
Sure.
It's hard. It's a very difficult list to get off of. And I'll give you an example. My team went to 3 AFC championship games in 12 years. Never got off of it.
Nope.
Didn't matter.
Nope.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter how good we were. Didn't matter the fact we were I think we were in the top 10 of winning percentage in the 2000s. Didn't matter. Didn't matter because you never actually did that thing that you had never been able to do before. Now, the Chargers never won a Super Bowl. For them getting to a Super Bowl is probably enough for their fans to go, oh, what is happening? Cincinnati Bengals. Look at how different that team is viewed now. I think that might be a little bit of a fool's errand, but
right.
Things had been changing in Cincinnati. You just had to actually see it before you can go, well, that's not the same old Chargers, or no, that's not the same old Bengals.
Look, I get it if you're going at it from the impression of this is just a cursed franchise. But to put everything on Brandon Staley in year 2 just kind of seems ridiculous to me.
Yeah, this is the reason you will never be hired as a GM, because you're way too forgiving. Well, I mean, I know we have the best roster in the NFL. It's not debatable. But, you went 9-8. You really tried. Let's give you a B for your job. Same letter that starts your first name. Good job, big guy. Me? You went 9-8 with this? Bye. Also starts with B.
Nice. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, coming after the Sports Center update. Top of the hour, we are going to be talking about the Big 12. Who's going to take home the title this year in that conference?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid 70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
High school football is back, and we get the Buncombe County Game of the Week started with a great one. West Forsyth coming up the mountain to take on AC Reynolds. The Rockets will get their non-conference season started with a tough team from the Triad. Sports Tank Friday is back at 6:30, and the Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 7. On AM 1400 and TuscolaRadio.com, the Mountaineers host the Patriots from Madison. Cowboy John Roden and the gang will get it started at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, September 23rd and 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Tickets are on sale right now. AXS.com.
Stream it free on the CW app and CWTV.com.
Sponsored by M&M's Crunchy Cookie. Delicious Crunchy Cookie meets your favorite chocolate candy. That's right. New M&M's Crunch Cookie is 2 classics. Now in one. Pick them up at your local retailer.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Breaking news on LeBron James. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting James and the Lakers agreed on a 2-year, $97 million extension, including a player option for the 2024-2025 season. It makes him the highest-earning player in NBA history, with $532 million in guaranteed money. From ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Chargers and safety Derwin James agreed on a 4-year, $76 million extension, makes him the highest-paid safety ever. James part of an LA defense with high expectations after an upgrade in personnel this offseason, including the acquisition of outside linebacker Khalil Mack. He's primed for a bounce-back season, believes ESPN Chargers reporter Lindsey Theory.
He's playing obviously opposite of Joey Bosa. And Khalil Mack is nothing if not determined as he's been training camp. I mean, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he wants to prove that he's obviously still one of the top pass rushers in the NFL.
Lindsey Theory on Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max. Mack was limited to 7 games last season because of season-ending foot surgery.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene. Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400 as well for those out in Haywood County. And, of course, you can hear us everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, no matter where you are. Same goes for the YouTube stream. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat each and every day. And you can join the House of Reprehensibles. You can click on the link in the description of the YouTube video to join the battle for the belts.
If you were with us in the first hour, the prize pack for that is now over $1,000, thanks to our partners at Ingles.
And it's only going to get bigger.
And WNC Auto Detailing. Mm-hmm. And it's only going to get bigger. We're working on all these things. It's a $20 donation. You get into a best ball charity league. You'll be talked about on the show. We'll be throwing up the standings all year long. Everybody loves their first and their last name. There is not one person that is not their favorite 2 words in the English language. And you have the chance to have yours on the belt forever.
And just like last year, the proceeds will be earmarked for the Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project that provides needy families with Christmas gifts for their kids on the big day. So we want to make sure that we can give as much as possible to the to the Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project so we can make Christmas a brighter holiday.
We also have an update to a story from the first hour.
Okay.
I have completely tapped out on the green tea. I put it in the sink where it belonged.
Yes.
So it could be used to wash the dishes. I have now tried another tea This is an orange and something.
Is it better?
I don't know.
Oh, you haven't tasted
It's still
it yet.
steeping.
All right, so
we'll know momentarily.
He's steeping the orange zest tea or whatever it is.
Is there any motion in all of the world that makes you feel more awkward than steeping tea?
Than teabagging? Yeah.
That's your one joke for the month. It's the one funny thing you get to say in the month.
It is possibly the most dainty thing I've ever seen you do.
Well, I mean, I'm a 6'5", 250-pound man, so it's bloop. Dupa.
Oh, college football season, it begins with week 0 next week. That's right. I'm looking forward to this weekend because these are the final days of my 30s, and then I'm going to be rewarded next weekend with college football. I cannot wait.
I don't know how much I would cling on to the next weekend. I mean, yeah, there will be games. Yes, they are wagerable.
Better than NFL preseason.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Thank you. I don't care that the best game is, what was it, Nebraska and Purdue or?
Oh, no, the best game of the opening weekend is Oregon, Georgia by – oh, no, that's not –
No, week 0.
Week 0. Sorry, I'm looking at week 1.
Yeah.
You got to click not top 25 to see that because there's no top 25 teams playing in it.
Right.
Nebraska, Northwestern. Yes.
Northwestern. That's what it was.
Ooh, I am looking forward to giving you some Vanderbilt, Hawaii bangers because I'm looking at that number going, that is dumb to dumb to dumb dumb.
Your first weekend of college football is not going to be the greatest, but it's still regular season college football, and that's what we're here for. And we are running down the previews of each and every major conference in college football. We're not gonna give you like the Mountain West and crap like that.
The AAC.
Yeah,
nobody really cares.
Yeah,
we're all behind the Fighting Mike Houstons of East Carolina.
Yeah, too long, did not read. Don't care about the AAC or the Mountain West or the MAC or whatever. But
did you attempt to have another funny? Because that was actually pretty close to funny.
What?
Too long, didn't read.
Yeah. The Big 12 is today's preseason preview of the major conferences in college football, and the AP poll came out the other day. And are you surprised, Jeremy, that the top-ranked team in the Big 12 is Oklahoma?
Am I surprised? No. Should they be? Also no.
Also no. Oklahoma comes in at 9.
This roster was gutted like a catfish, and nobody seems to want to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm. Baylor's at 10. Oklahoma State's at 12. That's pretty good for the Big 12 to be, lumped in right there all in the top 15. Texas has not made a top 25 that I have seen, and there's a lot of hype for Steve Sarkisian.
They were 19.
Were they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, they are not in the AP poll.
And I think that's an error in judgment. I will be honest with you. I did my power rankings for the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma's 5. There's no major power in all of college football that I believe in less than Oklahoma.
And
I am going to crush unders on them all year long.
And is it because you don't believe in Dylan Gabriel?
Don't, but that doesn't really have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Name me the position you got better at. All right, did you get better at coach?
No.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Did you get better at quarterback?
No.
Oh, good Lord, no. Is your defense better without Alex Grinch, who I always thought to be really smart and did a lot with very little?
Mm-hmm. No.
No. Offensive talent better? No, because Lincoln gutted that on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we so high on this team? Is it just because they have that logo on the side of their helmet? Because you do realize there was about a 20-year period there where that didn't mean squat. About the time Barry Switzer left.
I would say so. I would say
that's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
Right.
That's all that makes any sense to me.
Mm-hmm. You have, one star player left at Oklahoma and Marvin Mims?
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Is that going to be enough?
I'm looking at the preseason all Big 12 team. How many players from Oklahoma do you think are on it?
Well, Marvin Mims has got to be on it.
He is.
And they probably have 2 defensive players.
I can't. One, Jalen Redmond. That's it. End of message.
That's it?
Repeat the line.
Okay.
They also put Dylan Gabriel as the first-team quarterback, which is comically stupid to me. So you're not even the most talented team in your own conference.
Yeah.
Why is everybody just so blindly in on this?
But let's think about that for a second. Who should it have been?
Who should have been the first-team quarterback?
Yeah. Preseason first-team all Big 12 quarterback. You don't have a whole lot to choose from there. You got, Adrian Martinez.
That would not be Adrian
Is
Martinez.
like the only.
If you asked.
The only guy that's got, history in college football.
Spencer Sanders would like a word. Guy that just took his team to the Fiesta Bowl. He would love to have a moment.
Yeah, maybe.
That's who it would be for me.
Really?
And it's not even kind of close.
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel comes out of a gimmicky offense at Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, nobody could stop him there because nobody could stop anybody there.
Right.
Do you remember when this team played Tulane last year? And Tulane marched up and down the field on them.
Right.
What do you think Baylor, Texas, Kansas State, what do you think they're going to do to them?
I think I would have, if I were voting on this, I probably would have gone the college basketball route and put Quinn Ewers in there because they don't have any other great option.
He's the most talented, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
I'd have put him preseason first team all Big 12 and, taking all the lumps in the media.
I just cannot for the life of me figure out what it is people are saying with Oklahoma. And I like Jeff Lebby a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Brent Venables a lot. Not as a head coach. He's never struck me that way. Other than the fact he looks exactly like Daniel Tosh, there is nothing really memorable about him. Once you've seen it, you will never unsee it.
But don't you think he was a great coordinator with Clemson?
There's a lot of guys that are great coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the toughest jobs in America.
Sure.
Because you're recruiting to the middle of absolute nowhere. And now you're going into the SEC. You're always playing second fiddle to Texas. I understand you were more successful than them, but they're still Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it. Lincoln Riley comes away and literally steals away the best pieces of the roster in the recruiting class, and you're going to tell me that it just doesn't matter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy it. I think their over-under win total is like 10.5. And if they get to 11, can I come live with you? Because I'm going to need to.
Right. So Oklahoma is considered to be the preseason favorite in the Big 12.
Well, not for me, but
I know
the
not for you,
consensus,
but
yes.
I'm saying the consensus is that Oklahoma will maintain that level. I'm interested to see Brent Venables as a head coach because we've always talked for years about those assistants under Dabo Swinney. Oh, I think he likes the orange tea. That was an impressed face. I like that. But we talked about for years, Brent Venables needs to get a head coaching job. Tony Elliott needs to get a head coaching job. So now you have that. Now this is the year that we're going to see it. We're going to see Brent Venables with Oklahoma. We'll see Tony Elliott with Virginia.
All right, so take the Tony Elliott comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Elliott has a talent deficiency at Virginia, yes or no?
Yes.
You feel like the offense is going to be fine?
I think
Him
so.
coordinating it's going to be fine.
Sure. I would say so, yeah.
But you feel like they're probably going to have a problem defensively because they did last year, and you didn't really do anything to fix it.
Right.
That's the exact same scenario as Oklahoma in reverse.
In reverse, absolutely.
Because defensively, they don't have the talent. They do not have the talent. There is no Brennan Armstrong for this Oklahoma defense that is going to make it to where you can play dead in a Western. They were embarrassingly bad on defense. Tulane scored 52 points on them,
mm-hmm.
or something. It was something stupid like that. I can't remember exactly how many points it was. They should have lost to Tulane. And you're telling me that Brent Venables is going to come in here with a cupboard that was completely rated by Alex Grinch and Lincoln Riley, and you're going to finish it the same way you did last year? Why do I not buy that? You see when you say that out loud how stupid it sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you look at the fact, I think every team in this conference is better than they are purported to be, other than Oklahoma. There's not one team in this entire conference, except maybe Kansas, and that's all a talent thing. I like Lance Leipold, but it's going to take more than a year. I could argue every other team in this conference is better than people think they are. And people just believe Oklahoma will walk to a title here. I'm going to pray on this all season long. I will make as much money as I'm physically allowed to make betting against Oklahoma.
How many games you think they win this year?
How many do they win?
Is a 10-win season out of the question?
Laughably, unbelievably stupid.
Okay.
And that's with me not thinking the schedule is overly impressive.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule right now, and, their first real test.
Well, the first 3 games are a joke.
Right. The first real test is going to be Kansas State.
Who has beaten you 2 times in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to TCU, which is going to be absolutely no cakewalk. You play Texas. Add an Iowa State team that I don't really know what the quarterback's going to look like. Then I look at the back end of the schedule and go, oh, well, you do get Baylor and Oklahoma State at home, but they're exponentially better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end it out at Texas Tech. I'm not going to tell you the at West Virginia. Maybe I'm biased, but I'm not going to tell you that's a layup for them. I don't think they're that good. And nobody can logically explain to me why anybody believes that they are.
Right.
You have one receiver with a decent quarterback coming out of a horrible conference that plays 0 defense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Texas will be able to play defensively? Baylor with Dave Aranda. Then how in the world do you think this team's going to – it could possibly beat either of the 2 teams I just said.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I don't get. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But nobody seems really apt at explaining to me how I'm going to be wrong.
But again, it is Oklahoma, so they have the recruits. I mean, they may not be winning on the recruiting trail, but that they have a stock of 4-star guys at least.
Well, the problem is that Lincoln Riley came in and cherry picked about 5 of them.
Well, I mean, and that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying this team's on the level of an Alabama or a Georgia, guys that could just rotate in.
I'm glad you're not saying
players.
that because I would really hate to laugh at you out loud.
Yeah, but that's where those teams are. Like if something were to happen and, Nick Saban or Kirby Smart decided to jump schools, which would never happen because they're making billions of dollars every year. But if they did and they cherry-picked who they wanted off that roster, you can just come up with the next crew of superstar players.
Composite recruiting rankings, they haven't been in the top 10 in 3 years. So you already had a little bit of a deficiency from what you're used to in recruiting with Lincoln Riley.
Right.
Now he's gone. He's not here to cover up your problems. And I just don't buy that Jeff Lebby is going to. Well, he was so good at Ole Miss. You don't think that Lane Kiffin was doing the vast majority of the heavy lifting.
All right, so Oklahoma, Jeremy expects they will take a step back. I don't think there's no chance that they can be as good as they have been
8-4
in the Big 12.
I'll say they go 8-4.
Okay, all right.
And I checked. Their over-under in wins is 10.5.
So that leads us to the question that we'll answer after the break. Who is Flostradamus's favorite to win the Big 12 in 2022?
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Beginning in Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound is stop and go prior to Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Hendersonville Road northbound in Fletcher, approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound, stop and go between the Arden area and Long Shoals Road. Hendersonville Road northbound again, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Meadow Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, heavy delays. And again, Sweeten Creek Road northbound, approaching I-40 is very busy. I'm Lee Binfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Some Americans remain confused about exactly when they are eligible to receive the COVID-19 booster vaccination. We spoke with Dr. Peter Marks, director of the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research at the Food and Drug Administration, to learn more.
So the best advice is, right, if you are under 50, it's pretty simple. If you've had 3 vaccine doses of an mRNA vaccine, that would be either the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines, you are, for the moment, up to date. If you're 50 and up and you've had 4 doses, you're up to date. If you have some confusion because you can't recall what vaccines you got, or you might have gotten that Janssen vaccine or something, I would just ask your healthcare provider and figure out whether it's time for you to go get a booster.
To find COVID-19 vaccines and boosters near you, check out vaccines.gov.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer-lasting scent.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Roots and wings, the 2 greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Welcome back into the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy and check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Link is in the description of the YouTube video for the Battle for the Belt. Who will be Beer City's best fantasy football player this year? $20 donation gets you into the contest, and the prize pack growing each and every day, now valued at over $1,000 to the winner. Plus, of course, bragging rights.
You'll have the immortal. First of all, you will be served the belt by me, which will be very tough for me because I'm going to carry this thing everywhere I go all season long.
Nice. We're talking about the Big 12, previewing the upcoming season. Oklahoma, they were the kings of the division or of the conference last year. They've got a new coach. They've got a lot of talent missing off of that team. So they're not your favorite, Jeremy, to win the conference this year, but who is?
Well, I can't tell you exactly who my favorite is because it's a dark horse.
Okay.
But if I had to wager money on it, I would say Baylor. That's the one team in this conference that I really know can play defense. Oklahoma State lost a good bit and lost their coordinator. But I think they're more talented than Oklahoma. Those are the 2 best teams in this conference to me. I get vet quarterback play, good coaches. I'm good. If you would give me those 2, I'll give you the rest of the field, minus 1. That's pretty near and dear to me.
Do you believe Blake Shapen is going to light it up in Waco this year?
I don't think you have to. I think they're good enough defensive. Look how many players got drafted off of that team. I believe Dave Aranda is one of those coaches that just does more with less. and he takes the raw player that maybe wasn't in the top of recruiting rankings and turns them into players. I can't remember exactly how the stat goes, but there was no coach in Power 5 football that finished in the top 25 last year that had less 4- or 5-star starting players than Dave Aranda.
Sounds right.
It was something very similar to it was in that same vein.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been one that got him, but I can't remember who it was.
That sounds about right.
It was shocking how few high-end, high-caliber high school stars were on that team, and they were insanely good. And then you have the dark horse. Not my dark horse, but the one that you just don't really know what they are. You don't know what Texas is.
Yeah. There's a lot of hype around Texas. There's always a lot of hype around Texas.
But they're not even in the top 25
I get
of the coaches poll. So to me, that's not a lot of hype. Notre Dame is a lot of hype.
Yeah, but
Oklahoma is a lot of hype.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've been burned by Texas so many times that eventually it's like crying wolf. Eventually, there's going to be a wolf there.
Right.
And I look at that team and how many players they have that are going to get drafted in the spring. That's a talented roster.
Mm-hmm.
If Quinn Ewers is competent as a quarterback, they could win this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't shock me in the least. And he was a high-end recruit. Number 1 quarterback in the country. So what, he went to Ohio State and just died because he was stuck behind C.J. Stroud? I don't think that competition has been as close as people want to let on. I've seen Hudson Card.
Mm-hmm.
I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Ewers better than that.
Well, Hudson couldn't beat Casey Thompson for the role.
Which should tell you just about everything you need to know.
Right. But you add Quinn Ewers and, again, one of the I'll say it again, one of the most anticipated quarterback recruits that Texas has had.
Except for the one that comes next year.
He was one. Well, yeah, of course.
He has a very bad habit of choosing places that he shouldn't go to.
You think he loses that battle outright?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, instantaneously.
Instantaneously.
They may
He'll be
give
working
him
on his third school in 3 years.
Oh, no doubt. They may just give him Quinn Ewers' locker to prove a point. Like, there's the door.
Of course, we're talking about Arch Manning. If you don't know, he's decided to go to Texas. But Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy is one of the most touted wide receivers in the college football realm. And then, of course, you got Bijan Robinson, who's the best running back in college football. So Steve Sarkisian has all of the weapons at his disposal. The question is, can he make Texas a 10-win or more team to take home the title?
Can he do it? I believe so. The problem is going to be that it's not going to start very pretty because you'll get the easy win over UL Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to take on Alabama, which is not going to go your way.
No.
We know what happens to former Saban assistants when they take on Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see a path. You've got 3 winnable games before you go to Oklahoma. And I could see a path that people think, oh, it's just same old Texas. You can beat the nobodies and you're going to get squished by Oklahoma. That line is stupid. They remember what happened last year, and they come out and boat race them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people will finally acknowledge, oh, this is different. It's kind of the same thing I said about the Chargers. You have to get to a certain point before we'll believe you've gotten to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that's where Texas is.
Okay.
And then there's one dark horse that, I mean, I think if you've listened to the show for any period of time, you probably know who I'm talking about.
Country road.
There, baby!
Stop it.
To the place I belong. JT Daniels, baby, let's go.
West Virginia's
We
not
have
good
as
at football.
many
Stop.
players on the preseason All Big 12 team as Oklahoma does.
Nice.
No respect. Me and the Mountaineers making all the money this year.
I don't think you're gonna.
I think we will.
I really don't think you're gonna.
Or they might be the team that I have to use other teams that do good things to curtail my losses.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm loyal. And I actually do think the team's much better than people put. They're 9 in the preseason power rankings that the coaches did. I don't agree with you. And I could argue you have the second best quarterback in the conference.
Could be.
Don't sleep on the Mountaineers.
Although just remember, this is the guy who couldn't beat out Cowboy Hat Bennett.
It's just because Kirby Smart's not real smart.
It's got a national championship to his credit. I don't think you could use that against him anymore. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Yes, who will win the Big 12? Will it be Oklahoma with their new head coach, Brent Venables? Or will Texas finally pay it off and live up to the hype?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid-70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, heavy backups. Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between the Arden area and Long Shoals Road. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound slow between Overlook Road and Meadow Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is stop and go, continuing to the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. It's time to power shop at Northern Tool and Equipment. Save up to 60% on pressure washers, sprayers, generators, fans, lawn and garden equipment, and more. Find hundreds of deals in store or at northerntool.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
It's the Best Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, this might be one of the weirdest stories that I think I have ever read.
It's pretty weird. You just told it to me in the break.
A week ago today, there was an incident in Bengal, Turkey. Bingol. I don't know if in Bengal, Turkey. A 2-year-old child was outside playing at her house. She got bitten by a snake. And the way the 2-year-old responded is probably the best thing I think I've ever seen.
Don't do this, by the way. It's a bad idea.
Well, I mean, if you've had kids and you've been around young kids, decision-making is still, a new thing to a 2-year-old. And when she got bit by the snake, she went, oh, that's how you want to play it? She bit the snake back. Not only did she bite the snake back, but she bit the snake back so many times that the snake died. That is a tough little toddler.
That is even more impressive when you realize that this child may not have a mouthful of teeth.
Newsweek is the one that reported on this story, and they noted that neighbors heard the child screaming and ran to the scene. Her dad was at work at the time and said that the neighbors called him and said, you need to come home because your daughter just got bit by a snake. Of course, his first reaction was, what kind of snake was it? Well, thankfully, it was not a poisonous snake. But then he said when the neighbors ran to the scene, all they saw was 2-year-old sitting there crying with a snake hanging out of her mouth. I'm just going to say, chances are this girl's going to grow up to be quite the buster, if you know what I mean.
Seems to be very aggressive.
Right.
My story is also animal related. This is from San Luis Obispo, California. Earlier this week, a 911 call came in to the county sheriff's office. Just immediately hung up. Didn't say anything. They tried to call back. They tried to text back. Nothing happened. So when that happens, they show up to the address. Well, the address turned out to be the Zoo to You near Paso Robles.
Zoo to You.
Zoo to You. Okay. And it is a zoo, too. So they get there, they investigate everything. There's no one here. They cannot for the life of them figure out where has this call come from. So they start going into things that they can see because everything's locked up. There was a little opening in the capuchin monkey cage. The only thing they have come to realize or conjecture is that a capuchin monkey named Route apparently got out of his cage, picked up the zoo's cell phone, which was in a golf cart, and called 911. Capuchin monkeys are known to be very inquisitive, but that is an impressive little monkey. There was no one dial on 911 either. So this actually had to dial 911. It's impressive. I also would love to know how you came to that. Unless the monkey had the phone in its hand, you're not going to convince me of that.
Right.
Like, there's somebody here.
Somebody did it.
Somebody somewhere did this. There is no way that Marcel over there is smart enough to do this.
Marcel.
That was
always the Friends reference.
Oh, yeah. That's the only capuchin monkey that I was ever emotionally attached to.
Oh, makes sense.
Love that show.
It's just monkey business. That's it.
Oh, and there's the usual joke.
There's the usual dad joke.
That's what the jokes sound like. There you go.
It is the Sportsocracy, and, one of my favorite football players in the NFL, not because he's on drugs, but that doesn't really hurt. Aaron Rodgers.
Ayahuasca.
Old King Ayahuasca himself. Did you see that he now has a bust of Nicolas Cage in his locker?
I did.
Somebody sent him a carving or a statue.
I just want to hear Aaron Rodgers call a play from the scrimmage that way. Blue 42, set hot. One time. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, when he was asked after practice about how he felt about his young receiving core, he had some very pointed comments. And it's
they, though?
I mean,
were they pointed?
You don't normally get this kind of truth-telling out of players. I mean, players have a lot of that. They've been around the sport forever. They have a lot of that coach speak of, oh, we're working on things. It's fine. Aaron Rodgers said that the young guys are having trouble running the right routes and they're not holding on to the football. And there were several comments that he made about if you can't do those things, then you're not going to be here.
His quote was, the young guys, especially young receivers, we've got to be way more consistent. A lot of drops, a lot of bad route decisions, running the wrong route. We've got to get better in that area.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an indictment on your receivers. That's not some everybody in sports talk should be talking about it today. I've heard that as the lead on other shows.
Mm-hmm. And some
he didn't say anything.
And some are taking the stance of, oh, Aaron's got to be better with the youngsters. He's got to be more encouraging with the rookies. I'm not here to hold your hand.
I heard a theory. It was in our group chat that after watching the Woodstock 99 documentary, those people are now raising Gen Z. That broke my brain of, oh, you're right. Oh, wow, you're right. That's how this is going. Those people that eviscerated a field up in New York are now raising children. And those people are growing up to be 22-year-old Gen Zers that are soft as marshmallow fluff. If this hurts your feelings, you're in the wrong sport. And frankly, if this hurts your feelings, I don't know what you're going to do in life, because he didn't say anything. And if you read the quote right after that, he was asked about the preseason or the regular season. It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. It really is. We're going to play our best guys when the season starts. Whoever those guys are going to get the reps. There's nothing spicy there. There is nothing. I've read every word of what he said. There's nothing there. You can make this what you want of guys a little frustrated at a drop. I can imagine that, especially when requisite Romeo Dubs a mention for the day. He even had a drop. Little frustration. There's no pointed comments here. He didn't call anybody out by name. He didn't do anything. And if this was Tom Brady, we wouldn't have talked about it. Fact or fiction?
I would say fact.
It's 100% fact. The only reason this is being discussed is because people have this stupid misnomer that because there's no Devontae Adams, the Packers are just going to fall apart. And this is their proof positive of, see, he's getting fed up with the rookies.
But also the other side of that is, would Tom Brady have said it? Like if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we'll use last year's draft class because I don't think we got a wide receiver this year. So Jalen Darden, like if Jalen Darden had been dropping passes all preseason long, and do you think Tom Brady would have come out and said Jalen can't hold on to the football?
I don't think he would have. I know he would have.
No, you think so? Okay.
And tell me, I want you to go through the transcript and tell me where he said that about anybody. He said the young guys have to be better. He didn't say Romeo Dubs has to be better. He didn't say Christian Watson has to be better. He didn't say Amari Rodgers has to be better. He said the young guys have to be better. That's it.
Well, he did say that, because he was asked about Romeo Dubs because they said Romeo dropped a beautiful pass. He was like, yeah,
best throw of the day.
That was my best throw of the day.
And what did he say about Romeo Dubs?
Nothing.
Not a word. I've gone through the entire transcript. He didn't say squat. Tom Brady is notoriously hard on receivers. And yet that just gets bypassed. I don't know if it's because people like him or I don't really understand it.
It's because he wins.
There's nothing. So does Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. How many Super Bowl rings he got? Oh, okay.
Yes, compare him to the greatest player ever to determine whether he's a winner. Stop.
I'm just saying.
Okay, tell me three. All right, in terms of winner quarterbacks in the NFL, who's three right now? I'll wait. It's a real short list. If you want to give me Matt Stafford, who's one of the only other quarterbacks in the league with a Super Bowl ring, oh, yeah, he was dog water for 12 years. But now he's a winner.
But nobody ever looks at him that way. That's what I'm saying.
That.
Aaron
Nobody
Rodgers
looks at Matthew Stafford as a loser at this point. Because his first year in L.A., he goes in and wins a Super Bowl. And now he's a consummate winner. He was horrid for 11 years.
Horrid. He was on a horrid
team. If you're talking
team.
about win-loss record, there's no comparison.
Oh, sure.
win percentage is 400 percentage points off.
But this is why Aaron Rodgers gets this treatment, is because he is the guy who loses in the playoffs.
But he
doesn't win titles.
Jimmy Garoppolo does the same thing. Be real honest, Lamar Jackson does the same thing. If Lamar Jackson had said this about his receivers, would we be talking about it right now? No. Then why do we do it with Aaron Rodgers? It's stupid. This is just dumb. This is why he doesn't want to talk. This is why he does one weekly appearance, and it's with Pat McAfee. Because he gets so tired of lazy mainstream media taking every stupid word he says and stretching it like a piece of chewed bubble gum. That felt so good. I've been sitting here stewing on this all day. If you're just trying to make up a story, we just got out of the dead period of sports. Trust me, I understand trying to make up a story. I don't get how it's this one. And I sure as sin do not understand how it's this one again. Every word that comes out of his mouth gets micromanaged, and I'll never understand it. Never happened with any quarterback that falls into the... Did it ever happen to Dan Marino? Weird. Dan Marino did the exact same thing. Got there, never won squat. Did it happen to Phillip Rivers? No. Did it happen to Drew Brees? Who, by the way, they're the same guy. Now, there's only one reason. Because he's a little weird. He's a little weird, and you don't like him. That's it. There's no other explanation. And I wish people would just be willing to come out and say that. No, he's a weird guy that we think probably sits in a bungalow and smokes weed all day. And so every word that comes out of his mouth, we're going to try to make it sound like something more than it is. This story has progressively made me angrier all day long.
I could tell.
And you know what? The orange spiced tea does not quite go down the same way that coffee does. Coffee soothes the soul. This does not do that.
Some would say coffee steals your soul, but 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, maybe. Yeah, if you can't catch the ball, if you can't hold on to the ball, Aaron Rodgers is, he's right. You're not going to be out there. We're going to stick with Allen Lazard as the number one. We'll have Sammy Watkins and who's the other one?
Randall Cobb.
We will trot those three guys out there. If Christian Watson can't catch the ball, if Romeo Doubs can't catch the ball, we will move on with the guys who can catch the ball. Because again, I think a lot of people get on Aaron Rodgers because he's got a little bit of hubris. He knows he's the best quarterback.
As well he should. As well he should. And to me, this is the reason for the 3 drafts in a row now. I have laughed at you never give him the actual A1 target. You had Devontae Adams, but you absolutely refused to entertain anybody else.
Right.
So it's been Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Allen Lazard and Robert Tonyan and a slew of dudes that are probably one step away from being in a plumber's guild. And you don't expect him to say anything? If Tom Brady had those receivers, how often do you think you would hear him complain about it? Daily? 3 times a day? Because it would be quite a bit. So why is this a story? I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will.
It's just the hatred. It's the hatred of Aaron Rodgers and guys who are a little bit different. And he's always been seen that way. He's always been seen as the guy who's a little different.
Worse. It's gotten worse
because
every
he's
single
weirder. Because he gets weirder every year.
Has he, or is he just being more himself?
Ever since he started this little flirtation with retiring and disappearing in the off season and hanging out with his former girlfriend who was the actress, and hanging out with Miles Teller and his girlfriend in Hawaii and all of that, it's only helped to grow the resentment, the hatred, whatever you want to call it, for Aaron Rodgers.
And I think that is. Did you even know that he said he felt bad for Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least you knew that.
Yeah, he felt,
because very few others have seemed to even entertain that.
He felt bad for Jordan Love. Why? Because the receivers couldn't hold on to the ball. It was all part of the same conversation.
I felt like that. Maybe I read that differently than you did. I felt like that was a little bit bigger of a I felt like that was a bigger statement than just, well, I feel bad for him today. To me, I feel bad for him in general.
Right.
He's in a lose-lose situation.
Right.
And the further time goes along, the more I am starting to realize I think he's just screwing with you. I do. I think he's doing this all on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows everything he says gets put under a microscope. And so as this was coming out of his mouth, there's part of me that thinks he was sitting there going, watch them all talk about me tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only thing that makes me not angry about it is, well, you got exactly what you wanted.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Got to take a quick break, and when we come back from the break, it's going to be time for something to chew on with our good friend, Caleb Peak. Top of the hour after Sports Center, it'll be daily draft time. Top 100 players in the NFL, the subject.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 240 east and westbound delays between Amboy Road and Exit 2. Again, 240 east and westbound slow between Tunnel Road and Exit 8. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 west and eastbound delays between Porter's Cove Road and Sweeten Creek Road. Again, 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway, very busy. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road, heavy delays. Hendersonville Road northbound slow approaching Long Shoals Road. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound is very busy between Overlook Road and I-40. Sweeten Creek Road moving between Caribou Road towards Hendersonville Road. Traffic is stop and go. I'm Lemon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. It's time to power shop at Northern Tool and Equipment. Save up to 60% on pressure washers, sprayers, generators, fans, lawn and garden equipment, and more. Find hundreds of deals in store or at northerntool.com.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think, but then I found the right support to start my recovery journey.
I found a path that worked for me.
1 in 14 Americans reports experiencing a substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find the one that works best for you. Recovery from drug addiction is possible. Visit cdc.gov/stopoverdose to learn more about the various paths to recovery.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
New season, new era, new hope, and new optimism. Can Manchester United get off to a winning start in this Premier League season? Nacho, it's pretty all he could do, really. Referee, lingering look, and the watch, and that is it. Opening day defeat. Manchester United 1, Brighton 2.
Over the last 10 years, Manchester United have become the Dallas Cowboys of the English Premier League, still enjoying massive levels of popularity and enthusiasm, even though the once proud club has now been relegated to a perennial afterthought and faces relegation from the Premier League itself. This is Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Caleb Peak, and when the headlines broke early this morning that Elon Musk had casually, flippantly tweeted that he was becoming the new owner of the Red Devils, I almost bought it. Clearly, I wasn't the only one. CNBC reported this morning that pre-market shares for Man U jumped 17% on the back of yet another weird joke tweet by the richest man in the world. Manchester United Twitter went absolutely ballistic, not sure whether to believe the hype or suppress their celebration on the off chance that Musk wasn't actually serious. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. But his tweet still garnered 573,000 likes and 140,000 retweets. And you'd be totally forgiven, at least by me, for taking Musk at his word. I mean, this is a man who, in a very short period of time, has shaken up the entire way that society operates. He's taken concepts that at one time were either valueless or pointless and turned them into mainstream ideas. Tesla, SpaceX, Dogecoin. 20 years ago, all of these were either fledgling companies or hadn't even been dreamt into existence. Now, all three are recognized as major economical engines, whether you like it or not. Musk is the kind of guy who can impact the global market with the single click of a mouse because he's got the full faith and trust of a $270 billion nest egg to back him up. And that's a little faith and trust that Manchester United could certainly use right about now, because the faith and trust of the Manchester United Supporters Trust, or MUST, which is the official supporters group of the Red Devils, is long gone. The audio you heard a few moments ago was the result of Man U's opening season defeat at the hands of Brighton FC. The very next week, it was a 4-0 result at the hands of Brentford. And you'll be forgiven for not knowing who either of these clubs even are. Man U is in no man's land as an organization. Adrift at sea, even with the help of an aging Cristiano Ronaldo, who isn't the striker he once was and has expressed a desire to jump off the sinking ship before it takes what's left of his career down with it. Things have gotten so bad that Must has released a statement branding the team's start as a humiliation, quote unquote, and maintaining that the Glazer family, an American cohort who has owned the team since 2005, must sell before things go from bad to worse. And wouldn't you know it, as of this afternoon, the Glazers have expressed a willingness to sell a minority stake in Man U. That's the power of Elon Musk. Even by tweeting out a simple joke, he's once again altered the market in a fundamental way. He's brought people to the table, ready and willing to make a deal. But even though I'm sure he's sitting back right now, reveling in the havoc he's caused with one single 45-character tweet, don't expect Musk to pull up in a silver Tesla and save the day at Old Trafford. For Elon, purchasing Man U would be like buying a chocolate bar at the Exxon station. Even if the Glazer family sold him the entire operation outright, which would take an outright act of God, the whole kit and caboodle would cost him around $2 billion, based on CNBC's latest stock evaluation. That's down from a value of $4.2 billion in 2021, when Forbes listed it as the 11th most valuable sports franchise in the world. And it's a drop in the bucket compared to Musk's vast sea of personal wealth. But even though that might be the greatest thing to happen to this team since the birth of Sir Alex Ferguson, it will never happen. Why? Because owning the team takes the fun out of causing chaos. He's finding out the hard way with Twitter that inciting panic sometimes comes with a hefty price tag. But with this, he can have his fun. Watch the soccer-loving world implode in real time. And at the end of the day, he can wash his hands of the whole thing with zero consequences. Elon Musk isn't here to fix a former dynasty. He doesn't have time to worry about re-erecting an incapacitated empire. He's too busy building one of his own. Meanwhile, his simple joke could cause billions of dollars to change hands. Now that's power. I'm Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid 70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 240 east and westbound delays between Amboy Road and Exit 2. Again, 240 east and westbound slow between Tunnel Road and Exit 8. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 west and eastbound delays between Porter's Cove Road and Sweeten Creek Road. Again, 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway, very busy. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road, heavy delays. Hendersonville Road northbound slow approaching Long Shoals Road. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound is very busy between Overlook Road and I-40. Sweeten Creek Road moving between Caribou Road towards Hendersonville Road. Traffic is stop and go. I'm Lemon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Dog days of summer got your business needing help? Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A Woj bomb on this August 17th. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports LeBron James and the Lakers agreed on a 2-year, $97 million extension, includes a player option for the 2024-2025 season, makes LeBron the highest-earning player in NBA history, $532 million in guaranteed money. ESPN NBA analyst Matt Barnes, a fan of the deal.
I love it. I mean, the fact that this guy has been in his prime his entire career, Jalen, going into year 20? Getting $50 million isn't bad, but also we always like to keep cognizant of he loves to be able to control things. So he gets the 1 year with an option, keeps the Lakers on their toes, gives him about $50 million this season.
The Chargers making Derwin James the highest-paid safety in NFL history. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports James and the Chargers agreed on a 4-year, $76 million extension. The deal also resets the safety market. Yankees put closer Clay Holmes on the injured list. Infielder DJ LeMahieu, dealing with a toe and foot injury, will avoid the IL. The Rangers fired longtime president of baseball operations John Daniels 2 days after firing manager Chris Woodward.
If you need last-minute hires in no time, you need Indeed. Their integrated hiring solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword WIN to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WIN to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the program. It is the third hour of the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy, always heard everywhere, anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. And you can see us on your smartphone device or your desktop computer if you still have those. I know those things are kind of outdated now. At YouTube.com/thesportsocracy or go to thesportsocracy.com. Live video link is right there on the front page.
We have an update to something we discussed in the first 2 hours.
Okay.
I tried the green tea.
Mm-hmm.
I tried the orange and spice tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I've realized there's only one tea for me. It's a sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
This was so much easier than I made it.
That's the Lord's drink right there.
That is, you know, I don't think you had to be born in the South to love the sweet tea. I think once you try it one time, now, yes, you do have to get over the diabetic shock that comes with the first one.
Yes.
Especially when it comes from the Cracker Barrel, as this one did.
Indeed. It's not quite Bojangles, but it'll do.
Bojangles, also a very formidable sweet tea.
Yes, it is.
I don't know who does the sugar dispersal in that, but they do just fine.
I was going to say, maybe we should do that as a daily draft one day with the best sweet teas.
I would be very tough to beat in that because I think that's the only thing I drink besides coffee and energy drinks. And beer.
And Fireball.
And alcohol. Let's put alcohol under one little umbrella. Just move right on along, shall we?
All right, we shall. And speaking of moving along, it is time for the thing that we do at the top of the third hour of the program each and every day. It's the daily draft. And yesterday we began the 4-day process of drafting our top 40 players in the NFL. The NFL Network putting out their top 100. They will be putting out the other 50 of their top 100 later on this week. So we thought it was a good tie-in that we could just establish our top players in all of the NFL. And yesterday, Jeremy, your team started with Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen Ramsey.
We're calling that the winning team.
My team, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, Myles Garrett. Now, you had first pick yesterday. That's why you ended up with Aaron Donald. He would have been the first pick had I had first pick yesterday. And today, I get the first pick in the daily draft. So, I'm going to kick things off with a guy that I feel like should have been drafted yesterday. But, I mean, you're picking nits when you're talking who belongs in the top 10 and who belongs just outside of the top 10. Other than the quarterback position in the NFL, what do you think, Jeremy, is the most important position?
Edge rusher.
Edge rusher?
Offensive tackle's close.
Okay. I believe it's...
But I've reformed on that a little bit. I used to think there was a clear delineation between offensive tackle, guard, and center. Now I'm not as convinced of that.
Okay. I believe it's still offensive tackle. If you have a no-doubt left tackle, then you're pretty much well set up if you have a decent quarterback. So, Trent Williams has been the best left tackle in the league for years and just continues to look like he's, I don't know, getting better with age. I mean, last year he took over 600 snaps and allowed 1 sack. That's pretty darn good.
Oh, he's an amazing tackle in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Has done it in multiple systems. There's really not anything you can ding Trent Williams for other than the contract squabble. That, well, if you're a Washington fan, I understand how you got angry at what I just said.
I really don't care about those things when you can be one of the most efficient left tackles in the league, and you can do it all. He's the perfect package. He pass protects. He road grades for that running scheme in San Francisco, and he fits that scheme perfectly. Trent Williams, number 1 pick in day 2 of the top players in the NFL.
I didn't expect you to do that.
Really?
And I had 2 players ready to take, and now I'm not as convinced that I have to take one of them right now. So, I'm going to take a guy that I am tangibly dumbfounded that you have not taken yet. And it's going to pain me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it because I will have done it forever. It's Tom Brady.
The GOAT.
Why did you just imitate Stevie Nicks? That was a weird placement of that. At ESPN Draft Nerd.
Yeah, we're talking about goats. So
look, Tom Brady shouldn't still be on the board. He was the number one player I walked away from yesterday going, that's not right. We did that not correctly.
Well, I didn't take him because I had already taken 2 quarterbacks. And I know that this is not necessarily what this is about, filling out a full
So you
team.
thought you would be flooding your team with quarterbacks and that would give you a disadvantage?
Do what?
Said so you thought you would be flooding your team with quarterbacks and that would somehow give you a disadvantage?
No, I already had 2, the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. And Tom Brady was not a necessity.
Patrick Holt in our YouTube comment said, nice South Park reference there, Jeremy. I am so glad somebody finally got that because and I'm sure plenty of people have, they just didn't say it. I don't dislike Stevie Nicks as much as I say.
That's a South Park thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they did a whole episode where she was a goat.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Hilarious. I don't care how easily you offend. Hilarious. Now, this is where it gets hard because now I'm not so sure I have to take this guy right here.
Okay.
So I'm going to audible thinking that I can still get who I want 2 picks from now. And this might be a little high, and I'm not sure that I care. I'm going to go Micah Parsons.
Wow.
I'm going to go Micah Parsons.
You better be glad you did that.
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
That's who I thought for sure you were taking first. And so I had already written him off the board, and I'm like, okay. And then I started second-guessing myself of, okay, well, he hadn't taken Tom. I know he's not coming back. But Micah Parsons is, look, if he is even 10% better than what I saw last year, I just stole him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is he's an unbelievably impactful player that can do multiple things, which I'm a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming less and less common that you see somebody that, Micah Parsons can legitimately play 3 positions in the NFL. So for me, good pick at number 13.
Absolutely. You get no qualms from me. He was not going to come back to you. So good thing on you.
Well, to be honest with you, I knew I was taking Brady regardless. I had to sit here and think, did he just think I wouldn't do it? Or am I too high?
No, part of me thought that you wouldn't do it. But also, it's, again, I had enough quarterbacks to start out this, and I'm glad that I forced you into taking your arch nemesis in Tom Brady. And Micah Parsons, look, I poked a lot of fun when the story came out of him talking about him and Trayvon Diggs being the next Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald of the league. But he's already in the short conversation of best players in the league.
Oh, I didn't think that was nearly as ludicrous as you did. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that I thought it was even partially was the Trayvon Diggs side, not his side. His side I was fine with. You're gonna need a Robin there, Batman, but you are Batman.
Right. Okay. Tom Brady, Micah Parsons off the board.
I have 4 players listed. They're written in the sidebar of my little sheet over here.
Okay.
Any of them that you don't take are going to fall to me. Because there is a clear delineation.
There's a clear delineation from
yeah, there's nothing that whoever you take, my next 2 will be borderline instantaneous. Because there's a delineation after that.
Okay. All right. I took a San Francisco 49er already. But I'm going to take another one. Nick Bosa, 15.5 sacks last year, and Nick Bosa is, he missed the 1 year because of the injury. I was concerned about, is he going to be able to bounce back? We know he had, he had a promising rookie season, missed a year, then came back full force last year, and it's only going to get better as he continues to play for San Francisco. 15.5 sacks last year, like I said, and I feel like he is right there with Myles Garrett, who I took yesterday as one of the best pass rushers in the NFL.
That was one of the 4.
That was one of them.
For some reason, you said that, and I thought you were going to do something else, and I got very excited in my heartstrings.
Who else would I have taken there?
George Kittle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's on the short list. He's coming up at some point, but
well, when I said
there.
Travis Kelce was clearly the best tight end, you kind of looked at me funny.
I don't.
Well, maybe it was just
that.
your face.
Yeah,
maybe you need to learn to do something with your face.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I mean, I believe Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league. I don't know if I think it's as far and away as you do.
No, I think it's by quite.
Because I think Kittle, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, I think they're all right there close together. Kelce is the best, but I don't think it's a marked drop-off.
I would say 2, 3, and 4 are very close, but I don't think they're close to 1.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was obviously not George Kittle that I was talking about. Nick Bosa, generational talent, and Joey, not going to be far off on this this drafting process either.
Oh, I know what you're getting ready to do.
What?
You're getting ready to do my thing.
What is that?
You push into the break so that you have a few minutes to think.
Well, I've already decided who my next pick is going to be. But, just to make you wait, we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, I will make my second pick here in the Daily Draft in the Sportsocracy.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 east and westbound delays between Tunnel Road and Exit 8. 26 westbound is slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 west and eastbound delays between Porters Cove Road and Charlotte Highway. 40 eastbound is slow between Sweeten Creek Road and Charlotte Highway. 40 westbound delays between Hendersonville Road and Brevard Road. On Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, delays. Hendersonville Road southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Brevard Road northbound, delays between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lyndon Peel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. It's summertime. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when eligible.
Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each, plus 1-inch binders are only $1.99. In-store only offer ends 8/26, limit 30. Don't send your kids back to school, send them forward at Staples.
Are you sick and tired of that constant pain in your knees or hips or back, especially this time of year? You need to be moving pain-free, right? Just contact the team at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people here every day, giving them lasting pain relief using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. The science is simple. They concentrate your own body's healing agents and apply them to your aching joints, restoring and repairing damaged tissue with no drugs, no steroids, and no surgery. Listen, the old remedies for pain are not the only remedies you need. Learn more about how regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics can change your life. Make this the last summer you suffer from chronic pain. They've got clinics here and all over America. This is the exciting, new, natural way to deal with joint pain with no side effects and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Locations in Asheville and Greenville. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And as the NFL Network releases their top 100 for the 2022 season, Jeremy and I are following suit with the daily drafts. Started it yesterday with the first 10. We'll do 10 today, 10 tomorrow, and we will do 10 overmorrow. That's a new word I learned today.
Overmorrow.
Overmorrow. That's like the official English dictionary word for the day after tomorrow. I never knew that.
News to me.
Yeah. And by the end of the week, we will have a top 40. We'll each have a top 20 for you to vote on all the social medias all weekend long to see who reigns supreme in picking the best players in the NFL. I started it out today with Trent Williams. Best left tackle in the league, not even close. Jeremy goes Tom Brady, which hurt his soul. And then it hurt his soul even more to take a Dallas Cowboy after that.
Wasn't great. Parsons. I didn't love any of it.
My latest pick was Nick Bosa. And my now pick is a guy that has only a couple of years experience in the NFL. But he did set a rookie receiving record. And then last year was even better. And it's even more shocking because this is a guy that Jeremy said couldn't scrape gum off the bottom of park benches in Central Park.
Every time you mention Justin Jefferson.
Look, when you didn't think that he could get any better than 88 catches for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns in his first season, second year he comes out with 108 for 16, 16, and 10. So what do we think is going to happen in year 3 as Adam Thielen continues to take a step back, a step toward the sunset of his career, and Justin Jefferson just continues to be an absolute monster, and he's already set his sights. He's already said it. He's going for 2,000 this year. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get there, but I like the confidence in the kid to be able to say, I'm going out and setting the record this year for receiving yards in a season. So Justin Jefferson is my latest addition.
Well,
to the
you did not
team.
do what I thought you were going to do, but you did half of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to take the other half, which is not really hard for me to do in the least, and that's Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to go receiver, and I was going to be very sad. But you didn't. And I'm sure somebody will say, but it's only 1 year. Yeah, about that. As long as his quarterback's in this league, I feel just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried. Don't have any fears about those things. Now, the question is, I've got 2 more. And I have to figure out which one you're not going to take.
Okay.
Because if you do take one of them, I feel like I have lost today, and I don't like to lose. So I'm going to take the one I know you would take, which is Jamar Chase's bestest friend, Joe Burrow.
Nice.
If I was picking a young quarterback in the NFL, he would be my pick.
He would be the one.
Now, I haven't seen the sustained success, which is why Mahomes had to go higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like – I said this when we did quarterback rankings in the offseason. I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. You only saw it for a year, but he single-handedly took one of the most dormant franchises in the NFL to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
If he can stay healthy, which is a hang-up about everyone, he will do special things in this league. And the fact that I got him here makes me very, very happy.
Okay. All right. Going with Joe Burrow despite the limited amount of snaps that he's taking.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
You need to see. All you needed to see was him go to one Super Bowl, and you're all in. And I get it. I'm right there with you. Joe Burrow, no doubt, great talent. I do have that concern, though. Can it continue?
Do you have it about Herbert?
Yeah, I do. I mean.
Well, I'm glad you said yeah there, because no was certainly the wrong answer.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I look at these guys and I think they're very, very close in talent level. I thought, I thought that Justin Herbert was going to be a bust when he was coming out.
I thought he was going to take a long time.
I didn't buy it at all. I saw him at Oregon.
Same draft class that you love to throw shade at me for missing on Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
You never like to say that I had Justin Herbert ahead of Tua Tagovailoa. You always just kind of bury that. Like,
You did. I got to give you your flowers on that one because I didn't buy it at all, and I was a big believer in Tua. And now
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was in love with Justin Herbert. I just liked the raw tools.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's no doubt that he is. I don't know. Can we put him in the generational talent category?
Herbert?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. You better take him or he ain't coming back to you.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna. That's my next pick. That's where I was going with that, if you couldn't tell. He's the one that I look at and go, I don't think I've ever been as wrong about, especially two players from one draft. Tua, I still have a little bit of hope that he could turn things around, but it ain't starting well in the preseason.
I still have a soundbite that I have never used of you waxing poetic about Tua Tagovailoa on draft day. Oh, you should not let me be the keeper of records over here.
You're saving that for a rainy day.
Oh, yeah. And every time you say that little Justin Jefferson thing, and it gets a little bit worse than what I actually said, it becomes much more likely that one day you're just going to show up and it's going to be playing over the loudspeakers.
Yeah, I can't let you have both of the generational talents at quarterback, so I will take Justin Herbert with my next pick. And then
there is a possibility, if I did this right, that I just manipulated you in a way that people can take fantasy football advice from, which makes me really hope you don't take the guy I want.
Really? Okay.
I'll tell you what I did in a minute.
Well, if it's if
this is a trick I love pulling in fantasy football drafts when I pick at the on each side of a turn.
I was going to say if you want to tie this to fantasy football, I can't help you because I'm not taking a fantasy football player. I'm going to the defense again, and this time I'm going to take who I believe is the best corner in this league, and it's Jair Alexander.
No!
Jair Alexander, to me, is the best. You took Jalen Ramsey yesterday, and I went, oh, God. That means I have to get Jair Alexander tomorrow. I considered taking him with my first pick, but then I went, Trent Williams is just, I can't let you have the best offensive lineman in the league. So Jair Alexander is the pick.
That didn't go my way. Because I feel like I baited you into taking the quarterback because I took one in front of you, and you didn't want me to have both. So I knew I had a 50-50 shot. Oh, that makes me so angry. It's exactly who I wanted.
Oh.
Would you have taken Herbert and Burrow?
No. I would not.
Well, I did that wrong. That is something I do to people in fantasy drafts, though. I'll look at their roster and go, oh, you have to take a quarterback? Cool, I'll take one first.
Right.
And now I know one of your two will be that.
Right.
And I got the one I wanted. Well, that did not go my way. I was not expecting you to do that. I thought you would let Jair Alexander fall right back in my lap. But you didn't.
Nope.
This is where that drop happens. I don't like it. All right, you know what? I'm trying to debate now on which one you will never allow to come back to me. You know what? I considered taking them together. You took one half of them. I'm taking Joey Bosa.
Okay.
That's the one that I know will not come back to me if I don't do it now. And that gives me a whole day to think about my next pick because you boo-boo kittied my whole strategy.
Well, I don't apologize for that. There you go. There are those are our 10 for today. Players 11 through 20. Jeremy's got Tom Brady, Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Joey Bosa. To my Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Justin Jefferson, Justin Herbert, and Jair Alexander.
I think I won yesterday. I think you won today.
All right. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back from the break, it will be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid 70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 240 eastbound stop and go between Tunnel Road and Exit 8. 26 westbound delays between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway, 40 west and eastbound between Patton Cove Road and Porters Cove Road, seeing delays. 40 eastbound near Sweeten Creek Road, also slow. Future 26 westbound delays between Broadway Street and Elk Mountain Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, delays. Hendersonville Road, southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road, northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road, heavy volume. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
It's the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone.
High school football is back, and we get the Buncombe County Game of the Week started with a great one. West Forsyth coming up the mountain to take on AC Reynolds. The Rockets will get their non-conference season started with a tough team from the Triad. Sports Tank Friday is back at 6:30, and the Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 7. On AM 1400 and TuscolaRadio.com, the Mountaineers host the Patriots from Madison. Cowboy John Roden and the gang will get it started at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. Most important thing you're going to hear today, from us anyway,
Don't do crimes.
Yeah, don't do crimes. Crime never pays. Especially with money that doesn't belong to you.
Mine pays, but you shouldn't do it, at least not in public.
Are you encouraging crimes right now?
No.
Don't encourage crimes.
No.
This is called don't do crimes.
No, because it's not a crime if you don't do it the way that these people did.
Gotcha. Well, a Northeast Georgia man, 18 years old, has been sentenced after he did crimes. This guy, he got one of those Jeremy likes to call a windfall from the bank. The bank made an error in his favor.
Yeah, those are always in your favor.
$31,000 wound up in this guy's bank account. He's 18 years old, and when an 18-year-old guy checks his bank account and goes, whoa, there's 31 grand in there? What am I going to do? He went immediately to the bank, and I'm not sure how he did this because I'm pretty sure there are limits on how much you can take out of an account in one day.
Out of an account or out of an ATM?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's just ATM.
It's out of an ATM. You can take out. Now, there are procedures if you take out so much.
Uh-huh.
But if nobody's paying attention, you can do about anything you want to.
Well, somehow this kid was able to go to the bank and withdraw $20,000 without anybody asking any questions, and then made $5,000 in purchases with his debit card.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Okay, so he's up to $25,000. The next day, he tries to go back to the bank to withdraw the rest of the money, so another $6,000, and that's when the red flags got raised. And the bank went, uh-oh, we made a mistake, because this was actually a check that was written by a 70-year-old man that got put into the wrong account. And so now this kid has to pay restitution to the 70-year-old man for spending the $25,000. The bank takes no credit for this.
That's what I was about to say.
Right.
That's why these stories make me so angry. Why does the kid have to pay restitution? This is your boo-boo. You did this, not him.
But again, just because it's found money doesn't mean it's your money. The bank called police after they discovered the error when the kid tried to go back to the bank to take out the money, and now he has been sentenced to 10 years probation.
I was about to say, yeah. I'm going to get violently angry.
Probate. He got 10 years of probation, and he has to pay the restitution to the 70-year-old victim of the crime.
Okay, here's how I'm going to equate this, because even the probation makes me angry. That would be like someone taking all of the furniture out of their house, putting it on the sidewalk, and then somebody gets prosecuted for theft because they took the furniture on the sidewalk. You did it! How do you have no culpability in this?
Mm-hmm.
I at one time dated a banker. Can I just tell you how hard it is to do what you just said? You got to step over a bunch of hurdles to put money in the wrong account.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, I just did the wrong number. Nope. No, sir. That is not how that works because there are safeguards.
Right. Authorities said that the man spent the money at a car dealership, various stores, and a fast food restaurant. So he had to stop for lunch at some point.
So he went and got a new car, all new clothes.
And a good one, too.
And a McDouble.
The story ends with authorities are hoping to auction off the BMW convertible that the 18-year-old purchased with cash.
If somebody shows up with cash to a car dealership, that's a red flag.
I mean, you show up
that's
with
weird.
like you show up with $20,000 as an 18-year-old kid. You don't go.
I want it. I have it. You can have it.
I mean, I guess.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I have known several car salesmen in my life. And I don't know how many of them would just turn that down.
The reputable guys at Fred Anderson Nissan, they would not.
Exactly.
They'll also give you an extra $250 on your trade.
Yes, they will.
Just for saying we sent you.
That's right.
Go to reputable car dealerships, not guys that'll take $20,000 in unmarked bills in a burlap sack. That's how you wind up on probation.
Good to know.
Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, 629 Brevard Road. I'm going to play a game that I love to play here. Where did this happen?
Florida. Oh,
nope.
wait. We got to hear the story first.
Nope. This actually did not happen in Florida.
Oh, okay.
This story is about David Davis, which, first of all, is a very unfortunate name. Don't name your children things that start with the same 4 letters. He's 32. And Heather Johnston, she's also 32. They were at the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the where did this happen.
Okay.
I didn't do that thing where I accidentally say where it happened.
Okay.
There's an element to this that you'll get it at the end.
All right.
They were having just a fun day of amusement at the amusement park.
Yes, they were.
Well, they got on the Ferris wheel. And much like a story we told roughly about 2 years ago in Myrtle Beach, when they got to the top of the Ferris wheel, they decided that it was time for amorous activities. As I stated, there's nothing illegal about amorous activities. There is something illegal about amorous activities happening in public.
Exactly.
Especially when 2 children are the ones that reported you. Allegedly, they saw the children, laughed, and continued. That is the worst part of this story. I've read this on 4 different sites today. I've only seen that part reported once.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for the names. When they came off the Ferris wheel, obviously, the children and 2 other adults complained that, well, those 2 were they were fornicating on the Ferris wheel. A lot of things you can do on a Ferris wheel. That ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they were detained. When police detained them, they said, what happened on the Ferris wheel? Miss Johnston initially said, I dropped a pack of cigarettes and I had to pick them up.
Yeah, he was just helping me. He's just being a good husband.
It was at this point that one of the adults said, not with that party, wasn't. That's in the story.
Nice.
That's not even me using editorial license here to be funny. It's in the story.
Nice.
They obviously were arrested after admitting that there was a tryst on the Ferris wheel. Okay. I mean, it's just public indecency. It's a misdemeanor. I get it. But still crimes. You could still do half a year in jail. Don't do that.
Okay, so where's the twist where we have to guess?
Where are they from?
Oh, gosh.
It's 2 different states. They are not from the same place. They have apparently met in Ohio.
Alabama.
Nope. The man is from Florida. They're taking Florida on the road, okay? Like, we give you Florida. You can do these things in Florida. Don't take your Florida to Ohio. Leave your Florida in Florida. We gave you that one.
Right.
That's where none of the rest of us go because you Florida there.
Because you Florida there.
I'm going to make that a thing. Although I feel like
Florida and other places.
Although I feel like that could be immediately turned around on Asheville.
Oh, 100%.
Don't Asheville in my town.
Yeah. Do not take Asheville anywhere outside the city limits.
If anybody picks that up, I'm going to say I came up with that, and it was about Florida.
In fact, there are some places within the city limits where we don't want your Asheville. So
correct.
You keep your Asheville at Pritchard Park.
Don't Haywood Road in Arden. Okay,
right.
You stop that.
You stop that. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Don't do crime.
That story took a whole bigger right turn than I was not expecting.
It did. So, Jeremy, you saw a movie.
I saw a movie. It was a sports movie. It's not any of the ones that you wanted me to watch.
So this wasn't The Sandlot. You didn't actually watch The Sandlot.
The premise of that movie is so horrible that I will never watch it, ever.
Oh, come on.
The only reason I've ever seen Heavyweights is because you were nude in it, and I went, well, this is something that could be used.
Nude.
I'm not gonna lie, your Tookus shot almost ended up on the belt.
That would have been great.
I can still do it.
Oh, well, yeah, there's still time.
I'm just trying to think if there's a horrible picture of me. Nope, I shouldn't have said that. I feel like that's inviting people to go, got it.
Got one.
I watched the Manti Te'o documentary.
Oh, good. All right. Was it good?
Depends on what you mean by good.
Well, I mean, was it well produced?
It was very well produced.
A lot of great sources.
If you don't know what we're talking about, it's the Untold series on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So they take sports stories, produce hour-long documentaries. This one was actually 2 parts, so it was over 2 hours long. And this is Manti Te'o with the fictitious girlfriend.
Yeah.
And we've never done this before. We've never talked about a story that leads into I'm mad, but it made me so angry that I had to do it this way. The documentary itself is fine. There are a few takeaways that I feel like we all had.
Mm-hmm.
You feel bad for Manti Te'o.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he did this.
Yeah, there's a part of you that is also like, how did that happen?
Well, you have to understand, and they did a good job of explaining this. It sounds really stupid to us now.
Mm-hmm.
This was before Facebook had the setup it does now, where you can still, like, poke people. Can you still do that?
No, I don't think so.
If anybody poked me, I swear, like, I will block you immediately. I never understood the purpose of that.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you can still do that, but don't do that.
Can.
I felt legitimately bad for the guy. And they had his family in it, and they had Tuiasa Sopo, the one that actually committed this act. I don't think it was technically a crime at the time. And you just watch all of this and go, you know, it seems so obvious now, but they kept reinforcing. This was a different time. Manti at one point said, I learned the term catfishing after I had already known what happened. And there's very informative pieces. It was very well done. But then, of course, the media guys chime in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, the entity that broke this story was who?
Deadspin, right?
Deadspin. Which, if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can see that there's a sign behind my head that says Deadspin, the worst there is with is crossed out because it doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The worst there was and the worst there ever will be. And there is absolutely a reason for that. And I came to almost a cathartic realization last night because I watched this thing at like 1 o'clock this morning. And I realized that loosely the reason I'm here is to take at least one platform from people like that. And they looked like total jerks. It was Jason Davis, I think was his name, and Tim Burke. If you've listened to the show for any period of time, you know that I have had an incident that involved Tim Burke, where I was told, you're not a journalist. He's a journalist. Cool, scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where can you hear him today? Oh, okay. At his house? Is he talking into a foghorn outside of his house? Because that's all what you're going to hear him.
A foghorn.
Well, I'm just telling you.
A bullhorn.
Bullhorn.
Yeah.
Well, a foghorn was the chicken. The second time he's been mentioned on this program today.
Yeah.
And I went through I feel like sports fans, especially if you lived through that time, that is a documentary to watch. Now, I'm on a tremendous documentary kick. I've been watching them at a tremendous pace. But this one was done really well. Told me a lot of things that I didn't know. There was a little opinionated piece where they started talking about, was this the only reason he was the highest voted for defensive only player of all time? Of course it was. Of course. You'd be an idiot to not think that played a role in it. But I felt like they diminished his senior season.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed the lead up. All of that was good. But then you got to that point, it was like, well, I mean, he was fine. But there's been a lot of guys that had seasons like this. I would argue no, there haven't. Especially not at Notre Dame.
Right. I still just to find it. I'm really interested. I did not know this was out yet.
It came out yesterday.
And so I'm really interested to watch it because I just remember, I mean, this was in the early stages of the Saturday show when I was on WWNC before Jeremy even came into the picture.
This was 5 years before I ever came along.
And I just remember thinking, how do you get caught like this? First of all, how do you come out and say that I'm completely, I'm just sad because my girlfriend died and all this, and everybody goes, wait, we didn't know you had a girlfriend. How did you?
Well, everybody around him knew. He had told them about her.
Yeah, but he had also lied to them and said that he had met her.
No, he didn't. He lied to his parents. He didn't lie to anybody else.
Okay, so
and trust me, they show up in droves to say, we had some questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you just look at this kid and you go, you know what? You're from Hawaii, which is, I'm not being spicy here. That's an insulated community.
Mm-hmm.
And you come to Notre Dame at the behest of your faith and the behest of your parents. I feel like we gave this kid a raw deal. And I feel like nobody that has a soul and an IQ above salad dressing walks away from this not thinking that, you know what, you got a raw deal.
Mm-hmm.
You were a naive kid that we played off into a litany of other things. And all of those two things tie back to two yokels, which after the break, I'm going to get my pound of flesh. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic crawling, 240 westbound near exit 8. An accident reported. 240 westbound slow between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. And 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, very busy. 240 on the eastbound side, delays between Tunnel Road and exit 8. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slow between Bavard Road and the French Broad River. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Bavard Road northbound is slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hendersonville Road southbound stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweden Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Smoky Park Highway southbound stop and go approaching Sand Hill Road. I'm Lyndon Peel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. Plus 1-inch binders are only $1.99. In-store only offer ends 8/26, limit 30. Don't send your kids back to school, send them forward at Staples.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
Have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Can someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
DQ presents how to experience the new DQ Reese's Take 5 Blizzard with your 5 senses. First, open your eyes and see it all. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, caramel, peanuts, pretzels. It's beautiful. Then, feel it. Oh, it's cold. Next, listen to it. Now, smell it with your nose. Oh, sweet top notes. And finally, taste it. Experience the new Reese's Take 5 Blizzard today. DQ, happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com. Delivery subject to availability, additional fees, and minimum order requirements.
Hey you! Do you like sports? Of course you do. But how much do you actually know about the history of sports in this country? If you're not 100% sure about that, check out the new podcast, The Untold History of Sports in America, presented by One Day University. This podcast celebrates the ceremony and examines the controversial storylines around sports in America. Listen to The Untold History of Sports in America from One Day University on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Dirty Perky Shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
I'm not going to lie. I've been lying in wait, waiting for a day that this could ever come up. The 2 points of contention in this story are Timothy Burke and Jack Dickey. These are 2 reporters, and you'll see in a minute why I use those air quotes, that broke the Manti Te'o story that is the impetus of the new Untold, The Girlfriend That Didn't Exist documentary on Netflix. I remembered this story because Manti Te'o and I are roughly the same age. Mm-hmm. I remembered this story pretty well. And I remember reading this piece, which, by the way, if you search Manti Te'o on Google, still the 4th story that comes up. So this still gets the rounds to this day. Well, those 2 just so happen to make an appearance in the documentary. And they go through the entire process of how this went about, of how they did their due diligence, they did their fact-finding, all of the things. And now we're roughly 10 years later, it'll be 10 years in January, since they broke this story and completely eviscerated Manti Te'o's life. Well, here are just a few highlights of the things that you decided to leave out. You couldn't wait an hour for Manti Te'o to call you back because nobody knew who you were. So you break this story, call him, he doesn't call you back. In the documentary, it's going back and forth of, I just learned this, and Notre Dame's telling me not to say anything. Okay, so then all of the media things happen. And you run this story with having talked to no one in this family. No one. Mm-hmm. You don't know what happened, and you start throwing out conjecture hit pieces left and right. 9 years later, 9.5 years later, do you know how much actual contrition there was in this entire documentary?
None.
One line of, well, maybe we shouldn't have done it that way. And that comes right after Manti Te'o basically spends 10 minutes of, I wound up with PTSD, and it's one of the reasons I flushed out of the NFL because I second-guessed everything I did in my life. And it's all because you ran a story, in your words, because you wanted to be first. Now, the reason I'm so upset about this, a few months ago there was a story about Adam Schefter, where I jumped to Adam Schefter's defense, not because he's an ESPN employee, but because I know in this day and age, you do have to check with your sources about how you say something or you won't have any. And I got just attacked left and right. Tank can vouch for this. He sat here and watched it. Mm-hmm. If you ever want a trend on Twitter, it's not super pleasant. And the reason is because there's nothing you can say to these people. They have their opinion, they have their voice, and they come at you. And the gist of this was, in spite of I have a branded ESPN radio show with my name on it, I'm not a journalist and Tim Burke was. Well, that rubbed me the wrong way because I knew the real credence of this story. I've never claimed to be a journalist, but I will tell you, watch that documentary, I'm whales more than these 2 ever were. You can at me, you can whatever you want to. You look like 2 schmucks, and it's been this long and you still have no contrition. Knowing full well what you did to this guy. I'm proud to not be a journalist, if that's what it means. I'm proud to do a show like this where I can tell jokes, be lighthearted, and I promise you, I have never so much as ruined somebody's day, let alone 10 years of their life. I'm mad.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and you've never ruined my day. I will say that.
That felt good.
Yeah.
That felt good. I've been brewing on that for a long time.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch this. The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist.
It's well worth the watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, that felt wonderful. I thank the creators of the documentary just for allowing me to do that. And if you walk away from this documentary thinking anything else, feel free. At ESPN Draft Nerd. I ain't hard to find. Twitter comes right to my little cellular device. But I have a feeling that you will.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock when we will have at least one preseason game that Jeremy can pick. Although it's
Seahawks and the Bears.
Nobody really wants to watch.
Could we have put this on Mac Tuesday just to get us in the feel of how Maction really works?
I think Maction is better than what we're going to see with the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks tomorrow in the preseason. We'll have another daily draft as well. We'll do the next batch of 10 players in the league. We'll have another college preview to do as well. It's all going to be right back here on ESPN Asheville, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather and some showers in the forecast on and off for the next several days through the weekend and into next week. And the clouds keeping our temperatures in check here in Asheville. 60 degrees tonight in the valley with 50s in the higher elevation, and a little taste of fall in the forecast Thursday and Friday with showers. Highs only in the low and mid-70s Thursday and Friday. Could see some half-inch rains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Delays 240 westbound near Exit 8. An accident reported. 240 westbound slow between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. And 240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic very busy. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 eastbound near NC9. Expect some delays. Smoky Park Highway southbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Boulevard Road north and southbound between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway delays. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweden Creek Road southbound stop and go approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Phil with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.